The injuries look like those seen in people exposed to poisons like mustard gas.
That's how doctors are describing what they see in the lungs of vapors.
The chemicals can essentially burn your lungs. Find the truth at BehindTheHaze.com.
At Toyota's national sales event, we don't just help you get the perfect vehicle. We're here to open new doors that lead to your road to greatness. Your journey starts at Toyota's national sales event.
Toyota, let's go places.
At Valleywide Cooperative, we're here when you need us. For 100 years, we have been here to help you with food, fuel, and good old-fashioned advice. And for us, serving is more than a job, it's a way of life, which is why we pour so much into the communities around us. We've employed hundreds of your neighbors. We take pride in that, and in giving back millions in sponsorships, grants, donations, and scholarships. It's our way of saying thanks. We're Valleywide, and yesterday, today, and tomorrow, we're here for you.
I'm Corey. I'm a dairy nutritionist here in the Treasure Valley. I decided to get vaccinated because I wanted to do my part to protect myself and my family and my customers from COVID-19. As soon as the vaccines were readily available, I was vaccinated. I would encourage people to do the research, listen to the healthcare providers. When I went to get my COVID-19 vaccine, there was hardly any wait. It was an easy process, is readily available. Since I got vaccinated, I'm confident I'm protected against the COVID-19 virus. My life has returned to business as usual.
Ads like this keep popping up. But I see through the hype, because those vape clouds people claim are just water vapor contain as many as 31 different chemicals, like formaldehyde, the stuff they preserve dead bodies with. And while the flavors sound all harmless, we still have no idea what these ingredients could be doing to our bodies. But I already see vaping for exactly what it is. Get the real facts at BehindTheHaze.com.
It's not a secret that finding a new car this year is a little tricky. Between chip shortages and supply problems, there's more reasons than ever to come to our no-problem dealerships when you need a new car or truck. Our acquisitions team works hard to make sure that we have a great selection of vehicles to choose from, and our easy-to-buy, easy-to-do business with sales team is ready to deliver the same great value price that we've had for nearly 20 years. Teton Toyota, where it's always no problem to buy and service your car.
Welcome live on a Friday night here from Ashton, Idaho, one of the most beautiful places you will ever come to watch a football game. You're listening live to IdahoSports.com. I'm Lance Taylor, my broadcast partner for tonight, Lauren Jensen, as we bring this game to you here out of the Nuclear Conference. And this is the game that we've been waiting for all year. Not just us, but many, many people around the state have been waiting for this game between the visiting Firth Cougars in their dark blue and white jerseys and, of course, North Fremont in their home solid purple with the white numbers on them. Lauren, as we look at these two teams tonight, we're talking about a 6-1 team in the Firth Cougars, a 7-0 team in North Fremont. They swap in the polls. They're actually tied in the coaches' poll at second. They have Firth as the number 2, and North as the number 3 in the media polls. This happens to be a group of kids that is, for both of these teams, that could compete at many, many levels, not just at the 2A division, which the Nuclear Conference is, but many of these athletes, if not most, could compete very well in 3A, at a 4A school, at a 5A school. They would still be great, fantastic athletes. And both these teams are high-scoring teams.
Yeah, both of them really like to put points on the board, and they've held their opponents down as well, so good defense as well from both of these squads. But, yeah, you talk about the excitement, the final game of the regular season. It's senior night here in Ashton at North Fremont High School, so they're honoring the seniors right now, and it's just one of those games that we're lucky to be here. We get to watch this matchup that'll win the district title, And, both these teams are already going to go to state. Now it's just a matter of where they end up seeding-wise.
Sure.
And some bragging rights.
Yeah, and some bragging rights for sure. Well, last year, North Fremont got the best during the regular season of Firth. And Firth came up and shocked them in the semifinals of the playoffs and ended up going to the championship game where they eventually lost to Westside. Now, Westside kind of laid a bit of a shellacking on Firth in the state championship game last year. However, they played again to start the season this year, so they had 2 games in a row where they played each other, and that was a 26-20 game. Westside coming out on top. That's Firth's only loss for the season, and they had a chance to win that inside the last moments of the ball game.
Well, and Firth really should have won the game. It was Westside having to score late to tie it and send it to overtime, and then, of course, Westside eventually wins in overtime. And so, Firth had that game won, and so that's, people kind of look at that, and Westside has obliterated everybody else that they've played. Yeah. It's just a matter of, okay, it's the first game of the season, where was everything at? But a lot of people pick Firth in this ball game just because of that game.
Well, I had an opportunity during the week to talk to a number of 4A, 5A coaches who said that they matched up with Firth during some of the 7-on-7s during the summertime. They said Firth was holding their own against some of the bigger schools in 7-on-7s camps during the summertime. So that's one of the things to kind of think about, with this group is they're a very, very good team. We know that North is a good team as well. Of course, North did not play Westside this year. They, of course, could meet in the state tournament, but did not play them during the regular season. However, the 5 opponents that they have in common, these 2 schools, just to kind of give you a little bit of a gauge here, those 5 opponents in common, North Fremont beat by an average of 35.1 points per game. Firth beat those same 5 opponents by an average of 50.8 points per game. So it does kind of give you a little bit to see maybe what the firepower is. North will take a little bit more time off of the clock because of their running game. So the clock continues to run, so usually their possessions take a while.
Yeah, and that's one of the big things I feel like when I was looking at that scoring differential that skews it a little bit was, Firth ended up beating Salmon, I believe it was, like 75-0. And that game, although
it was actually Ryrie.
It was Ryrie, my mistake, yeah. And they put up a big chunk. And, and obviously North handled Ryrie just fine as well. Sure. It's just Ryrie put up some points, so it wasn't the huge spread. So that kind of skews that a little bit. But still, both these teams have huge advantages over all the teams that they've played scoring the football. And, Firth, they like to throw the ball a little bit. They're missing one of their main receivers tonight as well. The wind's blowing a little bit. They're not at their home field. We'll see. It could equalize things a little bit.
Well, this is one of the east-west fields in the state of Idaho. Most fields are north and south, which, of course, is where the term comes from, running north and south. So when you're earlier in the season here, it does cause some havoc when the sun is still up and you are going offensively to the west, just because you find that sun in your eyes. But I'll tell you something you miss. The later part of the season, when the sun is up during the early part of the season and it's still light out when games start at 7 o'clock, they have the most beautiful view of the Grand Tetons from where we stand here in this stadium. Of course, we can't see it tonight. It's already dark enough, but it is a very beautiful place. Let's give a shout out real quick to our local sponsors for this game. That's Fall River Electric, St. Anthony Motors, Upper Valley Orthopedic, Tonjes Brzee and Orm Dental, ProPete, and John S. Pocock Trucking. And our power boosters for tonight are Bingham Memorial, 21st Century Auto Sales. We also have Madison Memorial, Big Judd's in Ashton, Pocock Trucking, Grand Peaks Affordable Quality Health Care, and Fall River Electric. And I got to tell you, my partner Lauren wrote those down.
I was in a hurry. Sorry, Lance.
I need a dictionary that can decipher every one of those words for me. That Lauren wrote down.
It's my shorthand. I didn't expect you were going to be reading my shorthand.
It's
Lance.
no hand is what it is.
I wrote it with my teeth.
Either way, we're grateful for our sponsors. Glad that they step up. They help bring these games to you live and free here on IdahoSports.com. Also, if you're watching it, but you also know you have friends and family who are not able to be live to this game tonight, tell them to log on to IdahoSports.com. Simply go on to Game Streams, and they can choose this game here, along with a number of other games tonight. We've got some great games on the slate.
Well, Highlands playing Idaho Falls. That's a
Idaho
big game
Falls.
Here in eastern Idaho, that decides a lot in that 5A rankings as well.
Well, it could potentially be a
3A
tie, a three-way tie
Correct.
in that conference.
If Idaho Falls can beat Highland.
Yeah.
Which
that's right.
That's a tall task. And Idaho Falls, they're a good football team, but they have lost some games that they should not have lost.
Yeah. Well, and I don't mean a three-way tie. Rigby actually has that.
For the second place,
the 4A group could have a three-way tie, depending on what happens with Shelley and Blackfoot tonight.
Correct, yeah.
As well. And, of course, Skyline in on that too. They're your reigning state champions for 4A. As far as 3A goes tonight, Sugar Salem, who's your 3-time reigning state champions, they find themselves up at 4A Mountain Home just outside of Boise. That's been a game that's been the last regular season game of the year for both those schools now for about 5 or 6 years. It just happens, the Mountain Rivers Conference only has 3 teams in it, and so you're kind of a week shorter than some of the other teams as far as your schedule goes. But we got some great games on the slate tonight. Last week, very interesting in the 3A, 4A, 5A ranks. This week, extremely interesting in the 2A ranks, particularly with this game.
Well, and if you go down to the 1A ranks, Oakley Raft River, that's a conference championship
Absolutely.
game. You've got Dietrich Carey, that's a conference championship game of all of those teams, top 5 teams in their respective classifications. Dietrich's tailed off a little bit, but then you got Gooding Kimberly as well on IdahoSports.com tonight. A big matchup over there in the Magic Valley.
You certainly do.
So.
We're going to take a break real quick here on IdahoSports.com. It's North Fremont hosting the Firth Cougars.
I'm Corey. I'm a dairy nutritionist here in the Treasure Valley. I decided to get vaccinated because I wanted to do my part to protect myself and my family and my customers from COVID-19. As soon as the vaccines were readily available, I was vaccinated. I would encourage people to do the research, listen to the healthcare providers. When I went to get my COVID-19 vaccine, there was hardly any wait. It was an easy process, is readily available. Since I got vaccinated, I'm confident I'm protected against the...
Scott here from Teton Honda in Pocatello. Our dealership operates on a no-problem philosophy that's designed to put you in charge of your next vehicle purchase. Prefer to shop online? No problem. Evenings or weekends? No problem. Need a wide range of financing and leasing options? No problem. So whether it's one of our beautiful new Hondas or just a vehicle that's new to you, at Teton Honda, we'll help you find the perfect vehicle for your needs. Experience car buying like never before at Pocatello's only no-problem dealership.
Ads like this keep popping up, but I see through the hype because those vape clouds people claim are just water vapor contain as many as 31 different chemicals, like formaldehyde, the stuff they preserve dead bodies with. And while the flavors sound all harmless, we still have no idea what these ingredients could be doing to our bodies. But I already see vaping for exactly what it is. Get the real facts at BehindTheHaze.com.
it's such those crackback blocks, there's such a temptation for those players, and you really have to hold off, and it's tough. So that brings them all the way back to.
It does. And for Sam Park, it negates a fantastic run. However, what does that do for a guy like Sam Park? That gives you that confidence in this game to say, hey, you know what? If I did it once, I can do it again. Now they are. Vasquez up under center. He's going to keep it just enough to look what should be a first down. They haven't waved on the chain gang yet, but I think they're going to do it. They are going to call it a first down, so it'll be 1st and 10 Firth. The ball is going to be on roughly the 47-yard line. 47-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Cougars. Again, we talk about this Cougar team that lost, and fairly significantly lost, to North Fremont during the regular season last year before stepping up and beating them in the semifinals, the state playoffs, which punched their ticket into the championship game against Westside last year. That was played, of course, down in Holt Arena, I believe. Actually, it was not. Holt didn't hold games last year. Park has it. He pops to the outside. He's going to get enough this time for a first down again, barring any penalties. He gets into South Fremont territory and down about the 43-ish yard line.
And Lance, you're another penalty flag down out there. But Lance, you're stuck last week. Of course, Sugar played South.
Yeah.
We got North Fremont today.
Yeah.
But, yeah, flag there. Another holding penalty.
Holding penalty. This is going to be 10-yard spot foul, so it's actually going to hurt him more than from the line of scrimmage. It's going to put him back at about a 1st and 23. 1st and 23. But you know what? I think if you're Firth in this scenario, why not go back to Park? Because they haven't proven yet that they can stop him. So I think you go back to that horse, until they hit that point where they can prove something different. And they do go back to him again, and he is brought down. It's near the 40-yard line on the 39.
Yeah, number 22 and number 23, Carson Parker and Jordan Lenz, both in on that tackle.
You know, one of the things we talk about when we do some of these smaller schools is that primarily in 2A, and of course your 1As, D1, D2, which your 8-man football, players will almost always go both ways. Most of your 3As are that way, and a couple 4As, but 5A, you get a lot of them that are just single-way players. But when you have that many students to pick from in your student body, you can specialize a little bit more. This time they're going to go to Park again. Park now helps carry the pile just a little bit. Gets all the way to the 45-yard line where it's going to be 3rd and a long 12, short 13 for the Firth Cougars.
And we didn't talk about penalties at all, during pregame, but already, 2 big penalties that have really hurt Firth. They'd be up 7-0 or possibly 8-0 right now if we not for those flags.
Yeah, that's right, and particularly on the long touchdown run, I don't think it would have affected the outcome one way or the other. So the penalty just ends up hurting double bad. Yeah, I mean, it's one thing if you look at it and say, yeah, that's the only reason why he scored. Got all the way down the field, but that really wasn't the case. We got twins right, twins left. One in the backfield. He's going to be blocking duty. Now he goes out as an eligible receiver. Pass goes over to the side. It is caught. It's near the first down marker.
Yeah, that's a first down.
Great pass, great catch. Goes out to number 24 for the Cougars, Burton Park. Burton Park, the junior. Firth has not listed heights and weights on their roster, as North Fremont has. We can call those out as appropriate. Now you got twins left. 2 in the backfield up under center was Vasquez. Carry now again. This is out for about 8 yards, and it looked like a flag got thrown. I guess not. It was a ball on the other side of the fence on the far side of the stadium. And a couple weeks ago I was doing a game that there was a lot of yellow socks. And, as you see those yellow socks, you just kind of have to wait just a second and make sure that there was no flag.
Yeah, are the flags moving or are they staying put?
On the play, what is happening, yeah. Brings up a 2nd and 2. I think Firth might got away with a false start on that, but it wasn't called, so officials' responsibilities to do so. Pass comes out. Big number 44, Kyle Jacobson. We kind of know who that kid is just a little bit. His parents happen to be not too terribly far from us here. we've had to calm them down and pull out the handcuffs and link them to the ceiling. But other than that, they've been pretty dang good while we've been here.
I haven't even heard a word from over there. Jacob Hill on the tackle of number 3 for North Fremont.
Brings up another first down. Now down near the 20-yard line. From shotgun this time, it's going to be Vasquez. He's got Park in the backfield with him. Hands off to Park. He follows his blocker. The hole never really fully opened up that time. He did a good job following his blocker and really got as many yards as he could out of it, but it just didn't open up like it had previously. Picks up about 5 yards on the play, brings up a 2nd and 5.
Yeah, and that's the nice thing. Without having much of a hole there, he's still able to get enough push from those blockers ahead of him to pick up 5 yards. You take that every time on first down.
And I think what you're going to see here, you see that this has pulled the defense in quite a bit from North Fremont. Look where the outside linebackers are. You got 2 eligible receivers plus a tight end on this play eligible too. And this is what happens when you have to pull it in. It opens up some passes there now. Open in the end zone. Was number 44 Jacobson. The pass just wasn't good enough to where he needed it. He had the inside track there, and had that have hit him where he needed it to hit him, they'd have 6 up on the board.
Yeah, the pass was high, and Jed Hill was behind him, did a good job of jumping with him and knocking that away as soon as it got to the hands.
See, and the nice thing about picking up 5 yards, for example, on that first down, is it gives you that second down to make that. Those kind of attempts at the end zone to take that little bit of a risk. And then now you can go back to the run game if you have to. And at most schools at the high school level, this is 4-down territory. Vasquez now pitches it out to the side. It's Park. Park cuts up the middle quickly. He's going to pick up the first down, barring a penalty. And I do not see any penalty flags this time, and Park does pick up the first down. This time it's going to be inside the 15-yard line, down near the 10, 1st and 10, which means they can still get a first down prior to a touchdown.
Yeah, the big junior, number 63, Jacob Bells, in on the tackle there. The first man to get a hold of him. Bell's pretty big kid, 248, what they have him listed at, 6'3". That's a good-sized defensive lineman.
So Firth can pick up another first down on the 1-yard line, so they are not first and goal from here. Park in the backfield, twins right. Vasquez pops out to left, goes to Park. He's going to go up the side. And he gets knocked out what appears to be about 7 yards. Gain on the play. Clock will stop as he goes out of bounds. Was not hit in. He'll bring up a 2nd and short for Firth. And Firth, in spite, it's going to actually be 2nd and 4. He went out a little earlier than I thought he did. But, if you're Firth, in spite of the penalties that you've had, Lauren, you've been able to move the ball effectively.
Yeah, they have been pretty dominant on this drive. Like I said, those 2 penalties hurt them, but it hasn't stopped the drive. They're on their verge of scoring here in this possession.
Cross motion, and this time it is going to be Park. And Park does get in for the touchdown this time. No penalty flags on the field. Moves our score out 6-0, extra point pending from the Firth Cougars. They methodically moved down the field, overcame those penalties, and were able to get into the end zone. They just took a little more time than initially.
Yeah, a nice drive from them as they take about almost 6 minutes off the clock on that drive.
We're almost halfway through quarter number 1. Kick is up. Kick is good. And now with 6:09 remaining in quarter number 1, it is the Firth Cougars 7. Your hometown North Fremont, of course, has not scored yet, but they've not had the ball yet either. This will be their first time. If you are the parent of a high school senior who is planning to continue their education at college or through technical training, Fall River Electric offers scholarships valued up to $2,400 for each student. Scholarship applications for students of customers of Fall River Electric will be available online after January 1st of 2022 at fallriverelectric.com. Click the My Community tab for information and application forms. Let Fall River Electric help your student continue their education. Fall River Electric, your trusted energy partner. St. Anthony Motors, get $10 oil changes for life with the purchase of any new or pre-owned vehicle. St. Anthony Motors services all makes and models. Their service department loves servicing Southeast Idaho with professional and expert customer service. Come in today and talk with the amazing sales team to find the perfect vehicle for your needs. You'll find that at St. Anthony Motors. Everything is just a tad less. $10 oil changes. That's good. Go in there and talk to my buddy Blake Bauer. Of course, his father owned it back in the day when it was Bauer Motors, now St. Anthony Motors. Great place to do that.
Should have bought my truck there.
Now, it says they make all, or they service all models. Now, I'm going to call up, and just as a joke, I'm going to talk to their head of their service department, who I know very well, by the way. And I'm going to say, yeah, I've got a Lamborghini. I'd like to bring this in. Going to see if they service the Lamborghini. Kickoff, it's a short one, going to go to the midfield. They're going to bobble it. However, able to pick it up. I'm surprised the man didn't just kind of fall on it after bobbling. They're going to get out near the 40-yard line. It looks like it's going to be around the 36, 37, where North Fremont now will have an opportunity to get on the scoreboard as well.
You know, just a good opening drive from Firth. Really dominant on the ground, dominant blocking up front. Park had tons of room to run the football. And, you know, and they mixed in a little bit of a pass. I was a little surprised, though. I mean, they kept the ball on the ground the majority of the time on that drive.
I really expected to see a pass. They did have the one completion during that out to number 44, Jacobson, Kyle. Kyle's the junior. Run to the outside. It looks to be A.J. Hill. I'm not quite sure if it was Hill or if it was it's actually Lenz kept it. They're just one number off their jerseys. Jordan Lenz gets out, gets for a 5-yard gain. And again, you know, we talked about, you know, for North to really be successful in this game, Lenz typically, you'd expect him to get to the edge and be able to turn up. That was kind of a good mid-edge. Nothing out there too far, but picks up 5 yards. 2nd and 10. Keeps it again. Cuts to the outside. Fantastic run by Jordan Lenz. So 2 keepers to start the game for Lenz. Picks up a 1st down. It's out near the midfield mark. In fact, I think it'll be on about the 49-yard line on their own side of the field. 1st and 10, North Fremont Huskies. Husky and a Cougar. Who'd win that fight?
Going with the Cougar.
Going with the Cougar on that. Yeah.
Just pure animal. I'm going to go with the Cougar.
You know what? Well, if it's one-on-one, the difference is Huskies fight in packs. You know, and so the Cougar might be out there on an island, you know. Isn't that always interesting to put, you know? Of course, I went to Malad. We were the Dragons. You guys were the Pilgrims. Who'd win, a Dragon or a Pilgrim?
I don't know how strong those muskets were back in the day. Are they?
Well, you know, there's that one weak spot on every Dragon, at least according to the
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings movies. We know that. 1-yard gain on the play this time brings up a 2nd and 9 for North Fremont.
You know, on the previous play, Firth got into the backfield, and there was actually pretty good contact there on Lenz before he kind of squirted free. So, you know, Firth getting some pushback there, but great job by Lenz to avoid the arm tackles and bounce it outside.
Well, and that's one of the keys. You know, if you're Firth and you're playing defense against this North Fremont team, you don't want Lenz to be able to get into your secondary. You know, if he gets past that initial line, he's going to get back, and your safeties and your corners are going to end up having to take him down a number of times, and he might have the advantage in that. This time he comes back, has his man over the top. It's a completed pass. No, they're calling it no good as that pass went out to Hank Richardson, the 6'2", 190-pound sophomore. They list him as a running back and a defensive end. He was open there, just unable to hold.
Yeah, just a little beyond his reach. Richardson had to dive for it, and that gave the defense some time to recover and kind of knock it away. But that's what this offense does. They suck everybody in, and then all of a sudden they release somebody over the middle, and Lenz just floats it over the top there.
Well, and he's accurate. The pass was there. It just wasn't caught in that scenario. Brings up a 3rd and 9 for North Fremont. Now you see the Cougars pack their defense in just a little bit. Under center, it's going to be Lenz. Hill behind him in the backfield. And we are going to get, I don't know if this is going to be a false start or an offsides. Nope, it's a false start, so this will back him up 5 yards. We'll bring up 3rd and 14.
Yeah, like I said, there was a Cougar that kind of went over too, but I think North must have jumped a little earlier than he did because there was 2 guys in the middle of the field.
And, of course, it's not like the NFL where if you cross the line, you can come back as long as contact was made. You can get back before the ball is snapped. This is high school ball. And so if it's just the defense that jumps, if you go over that, it is going to be an offsides as well this time. On the offense, up under center again is Lenz. Goes out to the side. As his man, number 1, Romero.
Tell you what, there you see the speed from number 11, Gage Vasquez, as he flew over there and cut him down. It looked like there was some room to run, and Vasquez cut that off quickly.
Well, and this is what we talk about how difficult and what the challenge is to get to the edge to turn upfield if you are North Fremont. They get back to the original line of scrimmage, brings up a 4th and 10. As efficiently and effectively as Firth moved the ball downfield last time, I don't know if I'd be going for it right here. I think a punt might be your better option.
Yeah, try to pin them back deep in their own end. I agree, and it looks like Coach Lenz agrees as well, as he's got his punter back there to kick it away.
Well, I think pretty much against any other team that they've played this year, North would have gone for it in that scenario. Almost blocked, and now we're going to get a penalty, and this is going to most likely, depends which one of the versions it is, if it's roughing or running into.
To me, it looked like he had landed. It was down, so I'm going to say that's running into, but we'll see what that's just my interpretation of the rule.
Well, one's a 15-yard and an automatic first down. The other is 5.
They did call a personal foul.
They call a personal foul, so it's going to be 1st and 10, North Fremont. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking that was going to be a run-into variety rather than a roughing variety. But the contact was significant. I mean, it was fairly significant, so it's, nobody was in danger, but you're going to get that called. So as it is, when you're playing a team as good as Firth, you'll take the first downs any way you can get them.
Well, and if you're Firth, in North Fremont, you're going to take a first down, like you said, any way you can get it. And Firth, they got to be a little more disciplined than that.
35-yard line where the ball is, and we're going to get another whistle starting here. It might have been a timeout, or maybe the official hadn't got out of the way from setting the ball.
Yeah, might have snapped it a little quicker than they wanted.
Yeah, I think that's what happened. Didn't look like the official had totally cleared, and coming out is Dax Cherry.
Yeah, keep in mind the penalties again. Those early penalties didn't end up hurting Firth, but this one, we'll see if North Fremont can convert here.
Yeah,
that's those penalties coming into play a little bit here.
Again, these two teams have blown away competition within their conference this year. Up the middle for a significant run down inside the 15-yard line. Number 22, Carson Packer. Carson Packer picks up the first down and then some, and now North Fremont putting themselves in position to legitimately score. And they're down on the 11-yard line, and so they're in the same scenario that Firth was in the previous possession, where Firth was 1st and 10 from the 11, and now North Fremont opposite side of the field, 1st and 10 from the 11.
Yeah, a huge run, and again, that's what this just so many options from this run game, the way they line up, and you just never know who's going to end up with the football.
It's tricky because a lot of crossing routes as well, and this is going to be A.J. Hill, and A.J. Hill gets in for the touchdown, and he moves it out 6-7, extra point pending. Now, as I have covered North Fremont, this could be a difference in this game. As I have covered North Fremont this year, they have gone for a 2-point conversion each and every time that they have scored. So, that could be a benefit or a detriment in this case. As Firth came out, kicked the extra point, went up 7-0, and now 6-7, and it looks like it is, in fact, going to be a 2-point conversion attempt. Out wide right for North Fremont, Justin Gutierrez, the senior, 5'5", 130 pounds. However, it's going to be a keeper. And that's Jordan Lands, and he's going to sneak in, and he's going to pick up that 2-point conversion. And they're going to take the lead here on senior night. 2:32 remaining in quarter number 1. 8-7 your score. North Fremont on top. Upper Valley Orthopedics is the Upper Snake River Valley's renowned state-of-the-art orthopedic and sports medicine clinic. Doctors Michael Larson, Kevin Lee, and Travis Torngren are board-certified orthopedic surgeons treating all conditions of the shoulder, elbow, hand, and wrist, hip, knee, foot, ankle, and sports-related injuries. Please call for an appointment at 208-356-9550 or request online at uppervalleyortho.com. Upper Valley Orthopedics in Rexburg is a proud supporter of North Fremont Athletics. Tonja's Brazilian Orm Dental Offices makes visits enjoyable and positive with 2 convenient locations, one in St. Anthony and, of course, one in Ashton. Budget-friendly payment plans and family dentistry offered at such a great value. The offices of Tonja's Brazil and Orm really is such a wonderful place to make your entire family's dental home. Tonja's Brazil and Orm, caring families, dentists, wishing the boys good luck in today's game. Visit them simply at tbodental.com. That's tbodental.com. So, Lauren, pretty even when we see how both teams move down the field. Now, one of the things that North had on that is they did have that penalty on a 4th down when they were punting. Otherwise, Firth would have got that ball back. So that penalty, extremely costly for the Cougars.
Yeah, and they've had a few big ones. That one really, like I said, cost them 8 points. See if they clean things up a little bit.
So on the kickoff, comes out. It's going to come out to about the 27, 28-yard line, where Firth will take over 1st and 10. Of course, in college ball, or excuse me, in high school ball now, if the ball goes back into the end zone, even if it's caught in the end zone, it is touchback and comes out to the 20-yard line. In college, you have your choice. The difference in the college rule is from where college used to be is if it goes into the end zone, you don't have to catch it anymore like you did years ago. You can just let it go in, and it's automatically a touchback. But if you catch it there, you are able to run it out in the college game.
A pretty good return there. Dax Cherry on the tackle on the return.
Up the middle, it's going to be Park again. Park is that horse that they're going to ride quite a bit tonight. He gets out for about a 7-yard gain, and it's a long 7. Short 8 will bring up 2nd and 3 for the Cougars of Firth.
And Sam Park, I got to see him play in the state baseball tournament last year as well, and a great baseball player as well for the Firth Cougars. And you can see just an overall athlete as he's out here running the football. Just strong, quick, and a big part thus far of this offense.
Sam Park, one of those good seniors for the Firth Cougars. Played in the championship game last year. Ball gets put on the ground after the initial hike, and boy, Park makes the most out of a broken play. They were a full second behind on the play as Vasquez bobbled the snap. It was a little bit low, ended up on the ground, handed off to Park, and Park just kind of moved his way up and through all the way out to about the 44-yard line, 1st and 10 Firth.
Yeah, it was Carson Packer who finally brought him down, but yeah, that broken play that, Park just bouncing around, a lot of lateral movement, and finds a seam and picks up a 1st down.
Well, Park has a very good center of gravity, and which typically gives you that good lateral movement as well. And he was able to cut back on a lateral to the inside. From the shotgun, it's Vasquez. He comes back. He's got 4 eligible receivers on this, plus a tight end. He gets to the outside. They try to take him down. Can't get it. He gets his receiver, and that is caught, and it's caught inbounds. No, it is not. They're going to say it was out of bounds. It was a fantastic catch by the brother Austin Jacobson.
Yeah, a great effort by Jacobson trying to keep the feet in bounds. Made the catch. He just couldn't keep the feet in bounds as the ball kind of carried him to the outside.
Well, and from where I was standing, it looked like he was in. Of course, in high school football, there's no instant replay, to go back. And that is certainly one of those plays that would have been reviewed. Had it have been a college game, as it is, brings up 2nd and 10 for the Cougars.
Well, and you see Vasquez able to escape there as he had guys bearing down on him, able to use his speed to get to the outside and still try to complete a pass.
Once again, going with the spread, +1 in the backfield. He'll have blocking duties. Twins right, twins left, 1 in motion. Again, a low snap. And when that costs you a full second like that, more bad things happen than good things. Now, last time that happened, they were able to give it to Park, and he was able to make the most of it. This time, North penetrated that backfield too quick, and Park was unable to go anywhere, brings up 3rd and 11.
Yeah, that delay allows the defense to get into the backfield there and get to Park before he's able to get up any speed and steam towards the line of scrimmage.
We're down inside 30 seconds now in quarter number 1. This game will go pretty fast as much as they've been running the ball. That keeps it going unless they go out of bounds. Shotgun again, same formation, no man in motion this time. Vasquez puts it up. He has his man. Dang near got intercepted. It looks like it looked like that was Dax Cherry on the defense that time, and it looked for a moment like Cherry was going to come down with that. Slightly underthrown, therefore he almost becomes the eligible receiver on that play. Brings up 4th down. And again, so let's talk about the scenario. This is close to the same place North Fremont was on their 4th down. And it looks like Firth's going to punt it because as effective as North was, I don't think you want to give that up either.
Yeah, just about a 7 or 8 yard difference. I think North was right at midfield, and they're about back at their own 43.
And, and again, I saw that football thrown on the other side of the stadium at that fence, and I thought it was a flag. No flag. Ball goes down inside the 25-yard line, what appears to be about the 24, where it will be 1st and 10 North Fremont. Our Firth Power Boosters for tonight, Bingham Memorial Hospital and 21st Century Auto Sales. 21st Century Auto Sales. This happens to be the 21st century. Did you know that, Lauren?
I can never figure out how the centuries work.
Yeah,
so
well, they're always one ahead. So
okay.
during the 1900s, that was the 20th century.
Gotcha.
And then, it's kind of that thing.
I've been alive in 2 centuries then.
Like before you're a year old, you're in your first year, and while you're 1, you're in your second year.
Yeah,
it's basic math.
Math seems confusing to me. Math's hard.
And now we're going to run to the end of the first quarter after about a 1-yard gain by North Fremont on first down. So your score at the end of 1. It is Firth 7, the hometown North Fremont Huskies on senior night with a 1-point lead with 8. ProPete fertilizer is an enviro-friendly product that reduces leaching. ProPete can help replace organic matter back into the soil. Peat-bound nutrients release when plants need them. Carbon 90 Plus binds nutrients to the natural carbon of peat moss, encouraging steady plant growth for healthier turf with less mowing and thatch. ProPete is a great product for turf and ornamental applications. Uses range from lawns and gardens to shrubs and trees. ProPete wants to wish the North Fremont boys good luck in tonight's game. And I'll tell you something about ProPete. So they took it out because they're located in Sugar City. Okay. They took it out to the sugar field several years ago, and it drove those roots about another 4 inches deeper. And what's interesting is that sugar field used to get torn up kind of there in the trenches, between the 40-yard line marks for a long time. Well, they got ProPete on that. And I'll tell you what, it looks just as pristine at the end of the season as it does at the first.
I was shocked last week there looking at that field, and you see it here on North Fremont's field. Granted, we're quite a bit further north, but still, it was still green.
Yeah.
Even with this cold, we had snow. This field, a week later, there's the brown spots that you see, especially in the middle of the field. And, yeah, man.
But it's not tore up.
No,
that's the thing.
Sugar's field, it was like, man, is this turf out here? Is this nice and plush
green?
green?
Even though you only have about 4 home games, you're still practicing on it every single day, and it's amazing. So appreciate ProPete stepping up and sponsor like most do.
Well, just underway here, getting started here in the second quarter. And that handoff up the middle, nowhere to go for the ball carrier for North Fremont. Looking who it is, it was number 22 on the carry, Carson Packer. And it'll bring up now 3rd and 8, as that was the first play of the second quarter. And it'll bring up 3rd and 8 for North Fremont, as this is a big third down play here for both the Cougars and the Huskies. If the Cougars can get a stop here, they'll get the ball back in good field position.
Yeah, they will. In fact, if they get the stop, this will be the deepest that either team was able to stop the other. Anytime it's Lenz up under center, nobody wide on it. Lenz tries to go up the middle. Boy, they're going to take him down. He might even lose on the play. No, they're going to get him back to the line of scrimmage. And it's going to bring up a 4th and long. And I certainly would imagine this is a punt for North Fremont. Once again, each team with a touchdown. The difference is the 2-point conversion for the Huskies and the 1-point conversion for the Cougars.
And again, that time Lenz getting hit pretty much immediately as he's turning to maybe hand the ball off, but the Cougars really getting into the backfield and disrupting the momentum.
Now we get a high snap, boy, and a punt that just goes up and will bounce backwards. And very fortunate that right there for North Fremont happened to be A.J. Hill, or that could have been disastrous. That could have gone back almost to where the line of scrimmage was. As it is, it'll be on the 40-yard line, and they just gave a major gift to the Firth Cougars.
Yeah, I mean, that's only a 15-yard punt, and like you said, it could have been a lot worse had Hill not been there to knock it down and snag it.
Your North Fremont Power Boosters, Madison Memorial, Big Judds of Ashton, Pocock Trucking, Grand Peaks, affordable quality health care, and, of course, Fall with River Electric. Maybe we can go to Big Judds after.
Yeah.
Should we make some kind of bet to see who to see who has to pay?
Depends on the bet here, Lance, because we want you to pay. You were talking about your Lamborghini. I mean,
that's right. That I don't. That I don't have.
Oh, you don't have the. Okay, that was a hypothetical Lamborghini.
Hypothetical. Yeah, trust me. I do not drive a Lamborghini. I do not do that. So just a slight gain for Park on the play as North Fremont's defense steps up and gets the stop against him early, which has been tough for them to do. Park's been able to pick up usually a minimum of about 4 to 5 yards on those plays.
Yeah, they've spent a lot of time in second and short. Now they're in second and long.
Up under center is Vasquez. Once away, maybe got away with a little bit of a false start with one of the receivers. Vasquez keeps it. A.J. Hill steps in and makes that tackle. And it looks to get about 3 yards on the play. I think it's going to bring up a 3rd and 6-ish. We'll call it 6-ish.
Yeah, and again, another big third down scenario here. The Cougars able to turn or force the punt from Huskies. We'll see if the Cougars can pick up the first down here.
Well, and if I would think this is 4-down territory here, but if North Fremont was able to step up and get the stop, that would avoid some disasters. That as the punt just did not give them some distance that they expected. Up under center again, Vasquez, 3 in the backfield, 1 eligible deep on the right. Vasquez steps up into the pocket. He's being chased now out of it. He's looking to get to the outside. Defenders comes up, and it looks like he's going to go far enough to at least challenge the first down marker. We'll see exactly where he is marked out at. Yes, and they are calling it indeed a first down. Ball all the way down to the 30-yard line, just inside at the 29. First and 10 Firth Cougars, and they avoided potentially either having to go for 3 or trying to pick up something on a 4th.
Yeah, good coverage downfield by North Fremont. As you know, Vasquez was trying to throw the ball down the field but had nobody to go to, and just able to escape enough to pick up that first down.
Well, and it was good discipline for Vasquez not to make the throw when he knew his guy was not open. You know, that's potential pick territory when that happens, and he tucked it in, was able to pick up the first down with his legs. Now comes to the backfield, gets it out to Park. He's going to scoot to the outside. Being pressured now by the defense. We might get a late hit on this, and we do, as Park was well out of bounds when it looked to me like that was number 22, Carson Packer, that came over and made that late hit, or possibly 82, Hank Richardson.
Yeah, there was a challenge right at the sideline, and Park went out of bounds along with the first tackler, and then as Park was standing there, just gets hit in the back and taken down.
Yeah, and that's a costly penalty because that's 15 yards, in this case half the distance to the goal.
Yeah, and it wasn't like he was 4 yards deep, but he was at least a yard out of bounds and had been there, and the whistle had blown, and then takes that hit.
Now both teams have now benefited from a personal foul penalty. It was North Fremont that benefited on the roughing the kicker. And now the late hit out of bounds benefits Firth. Vasquez pops out, being pressured in the backfield, steps up into the pocket, has his man, and it's going to be a touchdown as he gets it up to number 24, Burton Park.
Yeah, what a great throw. Vasquez leading him perfectly to the outside. It just looked too easy as Vasquez just kind of tossed it out in front of Park. Park tracked it down in for a touchdown.
Takes our score out 13-8, and I would not be surprised to see Firth go for a 2-point conversion here, but it looks like they're going to be steady, and they're going to go for the 1-point conversion and hope to be able to maybe get a stop on a 2-point conversion should North score again. So 13-8 is your score. Hike is up, kick is up, looks good from our angle, is good. That moves our score out now with 8:45 remaining in the first half of play, 14-8. Firth Cougars on top. Pocock Trucking is based in Sugar City, Idaho. We both know that place, but sends trucks all over the western United States and Canada. Pocock Trucking is a full service, and by that we mean they do everything. They haul bulk commodities like feed, fertilizer, grain, and potatoes. They offer minor shop repairs and have a full service lube bay. They grow potatoes, dairy quality alfalfa, and more. They can even sell you a used truck if you need one. Pocock Trucking's main office is in Sugar City, and their truck shop is located in St. Anthony. To find out more, go to PocockTrucking.com. Pocock proudly supports North Fremont Athletics and wants to wish them good luck in tonight's game. They're also one of the boosters, one of the power boosters for North Fremont. Also Grand Peaks, Affordable Quality Health Care, Fall River Electric, Madison Memorial, Big Judd's Ashton. We're still not sure if Lauren's going to have to pay if we go there tonight. And then, of course, for Firth, Bingham Memorial Hospital and 21st Century Auto Sales.
Well, I probably should pay. I mean, you drove on the way up here, Lance. So
yeah, and that was a lot of costly fuel.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it feels expensive these days. I probably should. I don't know if it's worth like a whole burger, but
Well,
maybe you can have a little
maybe
bit
a
of mine.
fry.
Yeah,
fries, like 2 or 3.
I'll get you an order of fries. That'll work.
Lauren and I have worked together at Idaho Sports for a long time now. Lauren was just a wee lad when we started this together. It's been a fun ride, hasn't it?
It has been fun.
Kick is up. It's going to go deep, potentially out of bounds. It does go out of bounds. That'll bring the ball out to the 35-yard line on the penalty, where North Fremont takes over 1st and 10. And, if you're Firth, knowing how effectively North has moved the ball too, you don't want to give 15 extra yards. You don't have to.
Yeah, North Fremont didn't have a trouble moving the ball in their first possession, aided by a roughing the kicker penalty, but they didn't show any signs of really slowing down.
Yeah. Right now the Cougars have a touchdown on a run and a pass from Vasquez. Touchdown for North Fremont. Came on a run. Up under center again. It's going to be Lenz this time. Hands the ball off. It looked like, I think that was A.J. Hill. It looked like he slipped down. If it was, yeah, it was A.J. Hill. And I think he slipped in about his 3rd step and went down and was touched. He did pick up 3 yards out of it. Brings up a 2nd and 7.
And that was number 88 on the tackle coming off the end. And I don't have 88. Blomquist.
Nathan Blomquist, number 88. You get this in high school games where some steps up, makes a big play, and you look down, they're not even on the roster.
Ethan Blomquist. He's listed as 51 on our roster, so we'll have to change that. Maybe that's his away jersey.
Oh, nice awareness to get this ball pitched all the way to the outside, where North Fremont able to get it out to Carson Packer, 5'8", 173-pound junior, and that was kind of a broken play as Lenz was just kind of stopped in his tracks.
He had somebody hanging off his legs, and he was able to find his pitch man and get it to him for a nice little pickup.
Well, nobody went out defensively. Once everybody kind of stopped, Packer kept moving. Nobody went out defensively to challenge that. He was able to get some positive yards, brings up a 3rd and 3. A lot more manageable for North Fremont. Single eligible right. It was Packer up the middle as Packer's going to pick up the 1st down for North Fremont.
Man, there was some hard hitting right at the line of scrimmage right there, and Packer able to go forward for a 1st down, but man, there was a shot right at the line of scrimmage.
Well, the trench play in this game has been very physical on both sides for both teams. In fact, you talked about that earlier, Lauren, we know how physical Firth is on that line. Is North can be able to step up and kind of match that physicalness, and they have. Both teams have played very strong in the trenches. Up under center, it's going to be Lenz again, 2 in the backfield, nobody wide. Handoff goes over to A.J. Hill. A.J. Hill is going to pick up about 6 yards on the play. It's going to bring up a 2nd and 4. We'll call it 2nd and 5.
And Lenz handed that off, and he still got tackled. And that's what you have to do with this offense. You tackle every guy that could possibly get the ball, because you never know who's going to have it.
That's right. It's like the triple option that you see with the military schools. I mean, you've got to have a durable quarterback because they're going to get nailed on every play. Because what they're going to do before they pitch it, they're going to wait for that defender to commit to them first. And once they commit, you're going to get hit. They do have 1 wide this time. It's tight end. Packer in the backfield. This time it looks like it goes to A.J. Hill. A.J. Hill picks up about a yard and a half on the play. It'll bring up a 3rd and 3.
Look like big number 63 in there for the tackle. Again, we don't have him.
Have you noticed most of the colleges this year have gone to the electronic down? And so a guy just moves it, and it's actually controlled. The down is controlled up in the booth.
Yeah.
But, of course, here, we don't have that luxury, so we still go with the old manual. But they're quick to get on it. Been a good chain gang crew tonight. Up under center, Lenz. He's got 1 wide. We're going to get a false start on this play. That was the easiest call of the night thus far, as you could see that.
I was wrong on the last play. It was 53. His jersey was kind of crumpled up. It was 53. Hayden Hone in there on the big tackle for the Cougars.
It's been nice. Both these teams have numbers that you can read very well. Occasionally you'll do a game and it's like, I'm not quite, is that a 1 or a 7? Is it an 8 or a 5? You get a lot of 3 or a 2. it can be tough. Bringing the play in for North Fremont, Angel Romero.
Another big third down here. What was 3rd and 3, now 3rd and 8.
Those penalties can hurt you, and they hurt at every level. They do have a wide left, and they're going to get the 5 yards back, as this time it's going to be offsides.
A smart play there, a little hard count to try to draw the defense. It worked, so now you're back to the 3rd and 3.
It looked like that was Mario Lizarraga, pardon me, the junior for Firth. And he knew it. He stood right up and shook his head like, he giveth and he taketh away.
Yeah, they got him. Mario, Lizarraga.
And, you get a quarterback that can give you a good hard count up there, and those are things you can rely on. A much more manageable 3rd down now. This time, going to go to A.J. Hill again. Hill's going to get clobbered and knocked backwards. He does get forward progression, which is about a yard gain on the play, but it's going to bring up a 4th and 2. Now you got a little more of a tricky decision. Do you send Lenz to the edge on something like this? Do you try to go up the middle with A.J. Hill, or do you punt it?
Man, that is a tough spot. It's so tempting to go for it, and I think they are going to go for it here. You're across midfield. The obvious downside is not getting it. But
Lenz will probably keep it in this scenario. He does. He's going to get the push, and he is not going to get it. They're going to stop him behind the line of scrimmage, or on the line of scrimmage on 4th down. I'll tell you, the physicalness right now of that Firth defensive line is posing some challenges for North Fremont that they are going to have to address at halftime.
Yeah, what a defensive push there by the defensive line. He didn't even get close. Like I said, a yard shy on that keeper. And, I don't necessarily question, but obviously when you don't make it, it's like, well, maybe we should try to get Lenz to the outside, give him some space to run.
So First starts with good field position on their own 45-yard line. They do have the lead 14-8. 5:06 remaining in the first half. Plenty of time to put another score up on the board. It's going to be a handoff to Park. Park able to get up and gain about 3 yards. It looks like we might get a personal foul on this too. No, they're going to – I didn't know. It looked like it might have been a face mask for just a moment.
Well, and the ball popped free, and you heard some yelling from this side, but he was down. And I think in there on the tackle was number 22, Carson Packer. Again, he's been all over the place offensively and defensively.
Yeah, we talk about, the school size. Your athletes are going to play both ways. You might get an occasional player here and there that's single side of the ball, but most of them play both ways, and Packer in on that tackle. Gain of 3 on the play for Firth. Firth will step up, 2nd and 7. Long 7, short 8. 1 wide. Vasquez going to keep it. Good block on the outside. He cuts up, and he's going to pick up a 1st down, barring a penalty. He does so, and he gets into North Fremont territory down to the 42-yard line, where Firth will have another set of downs, 1st and 10.
Man, it looked like he was going to run right into a would-be tackler, and he just changed directions very quickly, picks up another 7 yards for a big 1st down.
Well, and it was a great blocking assignment on that outside as well. He just gave enough room for someone as quick as Vasquez. Of course, good wrestler as well. We talked about that on the way out. When he was in junior high, he was a fantastic basketball player too. But basketball and wrestling take place at the same time in high school. Tough to do both. Oh, this ball gets put on the ground. Another bad snap. It looks like Park picked it up and somewhere near the line of scrimmage. But I'll tell you, one thing that Firth has got to address at halftime, too. We talked about what North does. Firth has got to address the snaps because Vasquez has been picking it up from his ankles half the night.
Yeah, and that's lucky that Park saw that and was able to get to it because Vasquez wasn't going to get there.
No.
And that would have been a turnover if Park hadn't come up and grabbed it. 2nd and 10 after that fumble. And you're right, there's been 3 or 4 snaps that haven't quite been where they needed to be.
Well, it put you a full second behind. And when you consider how far an individual can move in 1 second defensively, that's a big deal. From the shotgun this time, Vasquez hands it off to the second option. It's not Park this time. Now down the sideline it goes, and it looks like it's going to be number 24 on that, Burton Park.
And again, Park was going up the middle and just had nowhere to go, and he breaks it out to the outside and actually picks up some positive yardage. I thought he was going to get stopped at the line of scrimmage again.
Well, that's why you keep your feet moving. That's one of the things they teach you as a child when you first get playing this game is once you get hit, you keep your feet moving until you go down. And if you keep them moving, good things happen. 3rd and 4 for the Cougars. We're going to get our first timeout of the ball game for either team. It's going to be to the Firth Cougars. We're going to take it as well here on IdahoSports.com. We'll be back. 14-8 your score.
Lead the charge into a brighter future with the all-new 2022 Volkswagen ID4. With an EPA estimated range of 250 miles, the ID4 knows how to go the distance. It's an electric SUV that's as fun to drive as it is stylish and functional. You don't have to sacrifice good looks for great performance. So stop by our dealership today and jumpstart your year with the Volkswagen ID4. Teton Volkswagen, where it's always no problem to buy and service your vehicle.
I'm Dr. Christine Hahn. I'm an infectious disease doctor, and I'm Idaho's medical director for public health. It's my mission to keep our communities healthy and safe. That's why I believe every Idahoan should get their COVID-19 vaccine. The vaccine's been tested. It's proving to be very safe, and it's the most effective tool we have to stop the spread.
Walk into a pharmacy or visit covidvaccine.idaho.gov to find your free COVID-19 vaccine.
Firth now on a 3rd and 4 here from Ashton, Idaho. Home field of the North Fremont Huskies. And Park, boy, he takes it, and he was hit immediately, and he just continued to drag defenders with him the whole way. Sam Park, the senior, number 1 for the Firth Cougars, gets down about the 25-yard line. Looks like exactly the 25. Another set of downs, 1st and 10.
Yeah, I mean, that's just power right there from Park as he took multiple hits, just kept moving, kept chugging all the way down to that 25-yard line.
Well, this is where they were last time, almost on the exact spot where you saw Vasquez get the pass off to Burton Park for the touchdown. They give Firth back the lead. We'll see what happens here. It's Vasquez from the shotgun, twins right, twins left, one in the backfield. It is Park. Now he's going to drop out eligible as well. Pass by Vasquez. We do have a flag on the outside. However, I didn't see a motion of whether the pass was caught.
Now, it was incomplete.
It
was too low, but that's so far over there. Was it a late hit or was it a holding?
Well, we're going to get the call.
It looked like it was too far to the sideline to be a holding penalty, and it is roughing the passer.
Wow, so there's 15 yards right there. Again, in this case, it's going to be half the distance to the goal, so 7.5. No, yeah. Where are we? 25? 12. 12 and a half. 12 and a half yards.
Yeah, man, I didn't see the late hit because I was following the pass, but he must have got hit fairly late over there on the far sideline, and that's a costly penalty as well for North Fremont.
On the 12-yard line, 1st and 10. Now the pass to the outside. Once again, he gives it to his receiver, Park. That's number 24, the Burton Park version of Park, and he's going to get down near the 5-yard line. It's going to be second. They can still pick up a first down inside the 3-yard line. But that's good enough for an 8-yard gain on the play. Long 7, short 8.
Yeah, they just got him out there in one-on-one. A good open field tackle by Jed Hill, but not until he'd picked up, like you said, about 8 yards on the play.
That was a quick pass, too. Vasquez got rid of that awfully quick. And now Vasquez, and behind his legs, I would not be surprised to see him run it in himself. He does keep it. He goes to the outside, but he's got a man, and he's got him wide open. We do have a penalty flag on the play. I think this might be holding defensively. This might be defensive holding. We'll get the official call here in a moment. If not, it is a touchdown. Or, I mean, if it's defensive, it's a touchdown, and penalty will be declined.
You don't think he got an offensive holding where a guy shoves off, do you?
He might have, too. I caught the tail end of the contact, and the officials are,
there's two flags, actually.
They're going to debate this.
There's one on the near side of the field here, right around the line of scrimmage, and then there's one on the far side where the receiver and defensive back were at.
So if they're opposite, then they'll be offsetting.
So some discussion.
Let's see what the official call is here. Not quite sure exactly what was called still.
Pass interference.
Pass interference. They're calling that offensive pass interference. That's the one they're going to stick with.
So it must have been that receiver just shoved off on the defensive back to get open.
Yeah.
You don't often see offensive pass interference unless it's really obvious. So that must have been a pretty plain.
Well, and most of the time you see offensive pass interference, it's when a ball is underthrown. And technically the defender becomes the legal position receiver at that time. And the given receiver comes back and makes contact. That's usually when they see it. Ball comes all the way out to the 20-yard line where it's 2nd and 19. 2nd and 20, pardon me. From the shotgun again, single left, twins right. Nobody in motion as of yet. He's actually got trips to the right. He's got a blocker in the backfield. Now he's going to be pursued as Park was unable to hold the block. Now he passes across the middle, and the pass is incomplete as Jordan Lenz gets up and makes the tackle on the play. I thought maybe Jordan Lenz had a shot at coming through that and getting an interception on that. He does not.
It was Jacobson who was the intended receiver, Austin Jacobson, and took a big hit from Lenz from behind. That ball floated a little as Vasquez kind of threw it off the back foot.
Well, Park had the initial block in the backfield, speaking of Sam Park, and he just was not able to hold it long enough and closed out on Vasquez awfully quick. Brings up a 3rd down, 3rd and 20. We are in the first half of play, $1:38 on the clock. 8-14 is your score. Firth on top and hoping to score again, but North.
Good spot. The 4-down territory. You're going to pick up some yards at least here.
Well, you got to make it manageable for Firth, or at least get to a place where your field goal kicker can pop one up and in. Vasquez now pops back, being chased out of the backfield, goes to the right, has a man.
Big hit.
Pass is good. The clock continues to run, but they do make a little more manageable 4th down play. Now you've got that option of do you have a kicker that you can trust to give you a field goal here and make it a 2-score game.
Now, that was a great catch and a good job hanging on to it by Austin Jacobson as he took a shot from Jacob Hill after he roped that in. But, yeah, you're 4th and 6 here, 4th and a long 5.
Yeah, and remember, you can still pick up a 1st down on the 2-yard line here.
And it looks like they're going to go for it.
And the North Fremont faithful, they're stomping their feet and cheering their team on for a stop. 4th and 6. Vasquez up under center this time. 2 in the backfield. Looks at Park, but he comes out this side. He's being pursued in the backfield, able to step off the defender, come back to the right.
Now, and that's costly there because that, well, obviously a turnover on downs and probably a good job by Vasquez not to try to make anything crazy happen.
Yeah. I mean, you chose not to go for it. It is 4th down, and in that case, don't throw a pick or get a fumble or something, but it was a great scramble out of the backfield, but fantastic pressure by the North Fremont Huskies, and it's still a 1-score game.
Yeah, that's a huge stop from the North Fremont defense as it looked like the Cougars had a good opportunity to score there, and penalty hurts them, and then just great pursuit defensively by the Huskies.
35.9 seconds on the clock.
I think we had a timeout called by North Fremont as well to stop that clock. Get a little
well, after
here.
Tonight's game, we'll start to get seedings in for the state championships.
Yeah, last game of the regular season for everybody.
Yeah, that's right, last week. Last week of it. This is the most intriguing games. Last week we had a lot of intriguing games at the 5A, at the 4A, at the 3A level, but the nuclear conference last week, really no intriguing games. You had Firth playing Salmon, you had North Fremont playing Ryrie. We knew those games were going to be blowouts, and but this week, this is where the excitement is right here from North Fremont High School as Firth comes in. Of course, they go opposite years. Last year, North Fremont beat Firth at North Fremont. At Firth in the regular season, and then, of course, Firth turns around and gets the win up here. They're in the semifinals. North Fremont with Lenz up under center. He's going to come to the right. He has a man down the sideline. The pass was almost complete. It was a good pass, Angel Romero, and it did hit Romero in the hands. He was just unable to hold on to. That's one of those you've got to catch. If it touches your hands, I know you were getting shoved, but it's afterwards. But that's one of those you got to catch.
Yeah, I almost think the Firth defender thought he was going to have a good opportunity to intercept that, and then it sailed over his head, and he had to adjust quickly to put the hit on Romero. But as you mentioned, that probably should have been caught.
We do have a little breeze, nothing extreme that's going to, unless a pass is thrown super high, it's going to change the trajectory any. Again, it's Lenz up under center. He's got a eligible receiver again. Comes out to the right side. They're going to run it up the middle with A.J. Hill. It's either Hill or Packer. That's actually Packer. Oh, Packer's able to pick up a couple yards on that. The Huskies are going to take a timeout with 26 seconds remaining in the first half of play.
Remind everybody, check out the Friday Night Flash, that score ticker. It's got games being updated from across the state. Of course, we got a lot of guys on a lot of games tonight, too, so some of those may not be as up-to-date as we'd hope, but keep an eye on those as scores and games go final. We'll have all that on IdahoSports.com.
Well, Brandon Bainey tends to, put those in. He's on a game tonight. In fact, he's at Rigby, I believe.
Is he at Rigby or are they at Shelley?
Pardon me, Shelley. He is at the Shelley Blackfoot
game.
game.
Which is a big game in that 4A division.
Of course, tonight, not just this one. You also have some 8-man football, Dietrich and Carey. Then you got Gooding and Kimberly. Gooding has a good season right now, ranked third behind Weiser and, of course, your number one Homedale team in 3A. Lakeland at Sandpoint, Lapway at Potlatch, Oakley, Raft River, Rocky Mountain, Mountain View.
And Gooding, they got a little bit of a fanfare following those guys. They've had some D1 coaches. In fact, I think they have Coach Harson from Auburn out at their game tonight against the Kimberly Bulldogs. So they've had some, one of the Harbaugh brothers was at the game last week.
Hey, and Saturday, we got 5 different Grid Kid games. They're going to be carried on IdahoSports.com as Lenz jumps back to the backfield, gets cut off, now goes out to the left side, has to run it now as he's past the line of scrimmage, and he's finally going to get taken down. Looks like a first down for North Fremont, at least the way the sideline judge is, and it in fact is. Goes out of bounds, 17.6 seconds remaining on the clock. You got Twin Falls Minico. Minico stepped up and has had a really good season this year in 4A. They were not on a lot of radars, including mine, but the Shelley Skyline game tonight, that's a big one. That, of course, being carried right here on IdahoSports.com.
Another timeout here in the end of the second quarter as North Fremont trying to make stuff happen.
They just brought us a hamburger up here.
Well, they heard us talking about Big Judd's apparently, and
yeah, so they must have heard us say that it was going to be closed by the time we were done, and so.
Wow! Thank you very much to the North Fremont High School concession stands down there. Whoever is in charge of that.
Right now, in a really pivotal 5A game, it's Highland and Pocatello, or Highland and Idaho Falls. Pardon me. And in the third quarter, it's 38-21 Highland right now. And for Idaho Falls, who started the season out 6-0, if they lose this, they lose a playoff spot.
Yeah, and that'd be a devastating loss.
Rigby leading Madison in the second, 21-7. Rigby now has taken over the number 1 spot in the state for 5A.
Man, I don't know if I'm just having a hard time with time tonight, but these timeouts seem like they are lasting forever. They don't seem like your typical timeouts. It seems like they're giving them double what they normally have.
Well, and it's not an official. It's not one of those official timeouts where you have the red hat on the field, that has to call everybody back in. It's not like we're running anything of major importance.
There's no media timeouts going on?
No media timeouts. Blackfoot, 14-6 over Bonneville right now, and it is halftime. We'll talk about that during the half as well as Jordan Lands gets a long pass out. This one goes over the head of his intended receiver, which looked to be A.J. Hill, and it takes our clock down to 8.4 and brings up a second down. And really, you have a Hail Mary shot here. You'd pretty much have to get into the end zone or, otherwise the clock's going to run out and you're not going to have an attempt at a field goal anyway. Wouldn't be surprised just to see him nil it down in this. So we talked about Blackfoot and Bonneville. Blackfoot really started out with a promising season. They got a couple of college-level receivers on that team. Bonneville hadn't won a game last year and hadn't won anything this year, and then finally they knock off Shelley. They knock off Hillcrest, and, of course, Hillcrest has struggled, but Blackfoot, just a 14-6 lead on Bonneville at half. Bonneville is getting better.
Yeah, that's good for those District 93 teams, as it's been a struggle, especially for Bonneville over the last few years.
Sugar Salem right now, at the end of the first quarter, leading Mountain Home 24-0.
Nowhere to go for Lenz on that play as he just got swallowed up in the backfield, and that'll end the half.
Yeah, it's going to bring our first half on senior night to a close here from North Fremont High School, beautiful Ashton, Idaho. Your score, Firth 14, North Fremont 8. You're watching IdahoSports.com. We'll be back with first half thoughts after this.
For back to school. That's why I got my kids vaccinated for COVID-19, so they can be protected from COVID when they're back in the classroom. Kids 12 and older can get vaccinated. The vaccines have been researched and tested. They're safe and they work. Getting vaccinated was quick and easy. You can walk into a pharmacy to get one. We got our COVID-19 vaccine, and I hope everyone will choose to get vaccinated too.
Get a free COVID-19 vaccine today. Find a location near you at covidvaccine.idaho.gov.
Lead the charge into a brighter future with the all-new 2022 Volkswagen ID4. With an EPA estimated range of 250 miles, the ID4 knows how to go the distance. It's an electric SUV that's as fun to drive as it is stylish and functional. You don't have to sacrifice good looks for great performance. So stop by our dealership today and jumpstart your year with the Volkswagen ID4. Teton Volkswagen, where it's always no problem to buy and service your vehicle.
At Valleywide Cooperative, we're here when you need us. For 100 years, we have been here to help you with food, fuel, and good old-fashioned advice. And for us, serving is more than a job, it's a way of life, which is why we pour so much into the communities around us. We've employed hundreds of your neighbors. We take pride in that, and in giving back millions in sponsorships, grants, donations, and scholarships. It's our way of saying thanks. We're Valleywide, and yesterday, today, and tomorrow, we're here for you.
Ads like this keep popping up, but I see through the hype because those vape clouds people claim are just water vapor contain as many as 31 different chemicals, like formaldehyde, the stuff they preserve dead bodies with. And while the flavors sound all harmless, we still have no idea what these ingredients could be doing to our bodies. But I already see vaping for exactly what it is. Get the real facts at BehindTheHaze.com.
I decided to get vaccinated because I wanted to protect myself and my family and my customers from COVID-19. When I went to get my COVID-19 vaccine, it was an easy process, it's readily available. Since I got vaccinated, I'm confident I'm protected against the COVID-19 virus. My life has returned to business as usual.
We're a Valleywide Country Store. For 100 years, we've been your #1 choice for food, fuel, farm supplies, and just about everything else you could need to get you through your day. We know you work until the job is done, and so do we. For gas on the go, or a little extra to help you get down the road, you can count on us. We are proud to employ your neighbors and to be a cornerstone of your community. We're Valleywide. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow, we're here for you.
Scott here from Teton Honda in Pocatello. Our dealership operates on a no-problem philosophy that's designed to put you in charge of your next vehicle purchase. Prefer to shop online? No problem. Evenings or weekends? No problem. Need a wide range of financing and leasing options? No problem. So whether it's one of our beautiful new Hondas or just a vehicle that's new to you, at Teton Honda, we'll help you find the perfect vehicle for your needs. Experience car buying like never before at Pocatello's only No Problem dealership.
I'm Dr. Christine Hahn. I'm an infectious disease doctor, and I'm Idaho's medical director for public health. It's my mission to keep our communities healthy and safe. That's why I believe every Idahoan should get their COVID-19 vaccine. The vaccine's been tested. It's proving to be very safe, and it's the most effective tool we have to stop the spread.
Walk into a pharmacy or visit covidvaccine.idaho.gov to find your free COVID-19 vaccine.
At Valleywide Cooperative, we're here when you need us. For 100 years, we have been here to help you with food, fuel, and good old-fashioned advice. And for us, serving is more than a job, it's a way of life, which is why we pour so much into the communities around us. We've employed hundreds of your neighbors. We take pride in that, and in giving back millions in sponsorships, grants, donations, and scholarships. It's our way of saying thanks. We're Valleywide, and yesterday, today, and tomorrow, we're here for you.
Lead the charge into a brighter future with the all-new 2022 Volkswagen ID4. With an EPA estimated range of 250 miles, the ID4 knows how to go the distance. It's an electric SUV that's as fun to drive as it is stylish and functional. You don't have to sacrifice good looks for great performance. So stop by our dealership today and jumpstart your year with the Volkswagen ID4. Teton Volkswagen, where it's always no problem to buy and service your vehicle.
We're Valley-wide country store. For 100 years, we've been your #1 choice for food, fuel, farm supplies, and just about everything else you could need to get you through your day. We know you work until the job is done, and so do we. For gas on the go, or a little extra to help you get down the road, you can count on us. We are proud to employ your neighbors and to be a cornerstone of your community. We're Valley-wide. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. We're here for you.
14-8 your score on senior night here from North Fremont High School, but it's the visiting Firth Cougars who have the lead, and there's really, the score doesn't show, how much they have moved the ball in this ball game. Speaking of Firth, they, had some penalty issues and got shut down when they really had a great opportunity to score late in the second quarter.
Yeah, just based on kind of the way the ball moved, Firth could potentially be up 21-0. They had that penalty against roughing the kicker, and North Fremont was able to score on that. So, and then they got turned over here on 4th down, as they were heading inside the red zone. And it could be 21-0, but North Fremont, their defense has stepped up. They've capitalized on that penalty, and, they're hanging in here. It's a one-score game.
Well, we talked about some of the challenges that North might have to get to the edges tonight and turn the ball up. And true to form, they haven't been able to get there, but they've also game planned.
Yeah,
differently as well, to be able to cut up maybe through the A and B gaps a little more, maybe come out to the outside of the C. So there are some good things that North Fremont has done to make that adjustment. But overall, statistic-wise, Firth has the advantage during this game, and Park has been a very, very tough defensive assignment. That, of course, is the Sam Park version of Parks that we're talking about. He's been a tough defensive assignment today.
Yeah, he has. He's really run the football. In North Fremont, though, after that, especially those first couple of drives, North Fremont has handled him a little better. He's broke free here and there, but they've done a good job on Vasquez, too, keeping him kind of under wraps. He's picked up some first downs when he's needed to, but, just like on that last
bit of the spread, speaking of Firth, when they've gone to the spread, North has been able to get into the backfield, and they've made him scramble. Well, what does that do? Now it changes your play, because you don't have that pocket time now to really evaluate your check down receivers, where they're at and so forth. And he ends up going to the outside. Now he's been able to pick up some first downs and some significant yardage with his legs too, but over a long period of time, that can start working against you if you're First. So that's it. Those are some things that they need to address at halftime, along with the penalties as well. If you're North Fremont right now, and I think something to address at halftime if you're North is that you're losing the battle in the trenches right now.
Yeah, and that was one, something that we talked about on the way up here. We talked about it a little bit in pregame too. Are they going to be able to match? We knew that Firth was really physical. We knew that North had the capability of hanging with them, and they have thus far. And right now, man, if you're North Fremont, you got to be pretty happy with where you're at. You're down just 6.
Well, and you get the ball to come out in the second half.
That's exactly right. And they have been able to move the football at times. They just got to be more consistent with it if they're going to hope to win this football game.
Of course, North Fremont, undefeated, 7-0 coming into this game. 6-1 for the Firth Cougars. Their only loss in overtime to start the season to the #1 ranked Westside Pirates, who right now find themselves up in the second quarter 36-6 over the Malad Dragons, a Dragon team that has really struggled this year. I think they got one win on the season, but really – you talk about Westside, you talk about Firth, you talk about North Fremont. That is really the class of 2A.
Well, yeah, and those 3 teams you just mentioned, that is the top 3 teams in 2A. And then you go to Nampa Christian and Melba. Those in Melba and Nampa Christian, there's a big drop-off in my mind when you go from the 3 teams here, Westside, North Fremont, and Firth, down to Melba and Nampa Christian. Nampa Christian, though, they're 7-1, or 6-1, excuse me, on the season.
Yeah, that's right.
But Melba, there's a drop off there after Nampa Christian as well.
And the caliber of competition has been different as well.
True.
As you look at that. But I think, you take this three-headed monster from East Idaho and Southeast Idaho, with Westside, Firth, and North. And, of course, Firth and North being in the same conference. As Westside really not contested in the SEIC conference this year. Malad, obviously, they're up 36-6 over Malad right now in the second quarter. They thumped an Aberdeen team, and Aberdeen probably the next best team in that conference. Westside, Bear Lake didn't pose much of a challenge. Neither did Soda Springs, and really the toughest conference to win this year outright here in Eastern Idaho was going to be the Nuclear Conference.
Yeah, and it's been these two teams that have kind of led the charge, and West Jefferson, they're probably going to make the playoffs as well.
Yeah, well, when you look at their max prep ranking, they could very well get in. And I think certainly after these two teams, after Firth and North Fremont, it's a big drop off to the rest of the conference. But one of the things that West Jefferson was good enough this year, and this is what I said about West J all year long. West J's not really a threat to win the conference this year. They should be better next year, but they have a decent team this year. But they're a good enough team that if one of these top teams would not have showed up to play against them or taken it lightly that night, they were good enough to maybe throw a little wrench into the into the outcome of the conference this year. As it worked out, like most of us thought, it was going to come down between these two teams, and certainly has, because the only loss, of course, to Firth was non-conference.
Yeah, it has been a very tough well, like you said, the Nuclear Conference here in Southeast Idaho, and you mentioned Westside. They've just been the consistent, dominant team. And I thought about Firth and North Fremont throughout the week, and for a lot of years, Firth football wasn't the main. That wasn't where they were excelling. They have always had a great basketball program. Cross country has been phenomenal for them. And now, they got that group of athletes where they started being really competitive in baseball. They started really competitive in wrestling, and basketball continued, and now football. And kind of the same thing with North over the last several years. They've had a group of athletes that's just helped them on the football field as well as on the basketball court.
Well, 5 years ago, they went to state in basketball for the first time since 1928.
Yeah.
And of course, they ended up winning consolation that year. That's when Todd Jensen was his first year up here coaching them. Of course, he had led Sugar Salem's girls to a number of state championships. But then Firth ends up winning those two state titles in a row. Last year, they were a Hail Mary shot away from going to the state championship game again. Didn't quite make it there. But, we were talking earlier about like Nampa Christian, and really the quality of competition has been so much different, between them. Their only loss in the season came to a 3A Fruitland team. And Fruitland has not been good now for a couple years, and they lost 47-18. Well, I think either North Fremont or Westside steps up and handily beats a Fruitland team, And so I just don't see Nampa Christian really being able to be a major threat to either Westside, Firth, or North Fremont.
Yeah, and then your other teams that you're looking at, Orofino, Grangeville. From up north, where are they going to mix in? They haven't made it into the radar as far as the top 5 rankings for the coaches or the media polls. Where are they actually at? That's the big question.
Well, and teams up north are always the question mark coming into any playoff scenario because so many of their games have been out of state. They've played teams over around Spokane and those areas, some of the Montana schools. And where, you get in the southern part of the state and the central part of the state, those teams, there's a lot more known factors where there's a lot of unknown factors from the northern teams as they come down.
Yeah, so I'm excited for the playoffs. It'll be fun as things now shape up after these games end tonight. We'll know where games are going to be at, who's going to be seated where, who's got home field advantage. A lot of times you have a North Fremont, for example, they're going to be in the playoffs. If they get home field advantage, do they opt to play here? They have done that in the past. They've also opted to go down and play at Holt Arena. So very likely they could play down there too.
Yeah, right now, you got to the Boise Valley. Mountain View up 7-6 over Rocky Mountain as they will play twice this season. They played earlier in the season, 26-20. Was a victory for Mountain View, and they took over that number 1 spot from Rocky Mountain at the time. Of course, they're playing again now tonight. This one is at Mountain View. The first one was at Rocky Mountain. 7-6 is your score right now in that ball game. That, of course, being played like we said, out at Mountain View in the Boise Valley. And they're in the third quarter. It's a low-scoring game for those two teams who are used to putting a lot of points up on the board. It goes to Waihe School out there. Waihe High School. This is their first year as a high school. They're playing Boise, and they have struggled, like you expect from any brand-new school, you know, because a lot of the top athletes from the schools that they were splitting to make the new school want to finish their careers where they started, you know. So it's awfully tough. We saw that, of course, with Thunder Ridge, you know, when they came in the Idaho Falls area, where, you know, their football team had about 30 sophomores on it that first year. And it was awfully tough, you know, for them to get anything. So we're ready to start half number 2. Lance Taylor, Lauren Jensen here with IdahoSports.com bringing you this ball game. Firth is going to kick off. They get all set to do so. 14-8 is your score. 12 minutes on the clock. And it is up. It's going to be brought back. This by Packer. Packer able to get out across the 25-yard line. And we're going to get a penalty now on the ground. And I think that might end up being big number 53. It looked like it might be anyway, not sure.
Yeah, it looked like a late hit.
Yeah,
Jacobson in on the tackle initially.
Yeah, it's going to be a personal foul penalty, and I believe that is going to be on Hayden Hone.
And just, again, we talked about it a little bit at halftime, just the penalties, and right off the bat, just why?
Yeah.
You know, you got a good coverage on it. You stopped him at about the 26-yard line, and now you're giving it to him all the way out at the 40-something,
Yeah,
44.
It's a 15-yard penalty, awfully tough. We're talking to, you know, some Firth people here at halftime, you know, mentioning that penalties has been something that's hurt them, you know, throughout the season, and it does. It kills teams at every level. It's just difficult. Len's now up under center, 2 in the backfield with him. A packed line for the Firth Cougars, and on the first carry, not quite sure yet if that is, I believe it is Hill, because I see Packer out here to the right side. It's a 4-yard gain. Brings up 2nd and 6.
Yeah, just a straight dive, inside handoff, and good push up front, and a good strong run from Hill. Pick up those 4 yards.
Well, and you have to figure, you know, that was addressed at halftime as really Firth was winning the battle of the trenches. And, you know, knowing that it's harder to hit the edge against this Firth team, you've got to get the blocking up the middle to be able to make things work. And this time, again, it's going to go to Hill. Hill picks up the first down. And, you know, now we're seeing Hill carry the ball more. We saw Packer carry it more in the first half, but Hill has a little bit bigger size on him.
Yeah, Hill, a real big, strong kid.
Well, 5'11", 195. Packer is, you know, 5'8", 173, which is good size as well. But the senior Hill, I was surprised they didn't have him carrying the ball as much in the first.
Yeah, that may have been an adjustment that head coach Ben Lenz made at halftime for the Huskies. And now we've got a timeout, I think, from Firth.
Yeah, it's from Firth. And, boy, you sure hate to burn timeouts this early in the second half. But seeing something that they don't like, Firth ends up calling the timeout. If you're a parent of a high school senior who is planning to continue their education at college or through technical training, Fall River Electric offers scholarships valued up to $2,400 for each student. Scholarship applications for students of customers of Fall River Electric will be available online after January 1st of 2022 at fallriverelectric.com. Click the My Community tab for information and application forms. Let Fall River Electric help your student continue their education. Fall River Electric, your trusted energy partner. St. Anthony Motors, get $10 oil changes for life with the purchase of any new or pre-owned vehicle. St. Anthony Motors services all makes and models. Their service department loves serving Southeast Idaho with professional and expert customer service. Come in today and talk with their amazing sales team to find the perfect vehicle for your needs. You'll find that at St. Anthony Motors. Everything is just a tad less. And, of course, they're building a new facility just off the south exit of St. Anthony. So congratulations there to St. Anthony Motors. They've needed a new building for a long time. Good for them. Handoff up the middle. This time it goes to Packer as they run a fake to the outside with A.J. Hill. Packer gets up, picks up significant yards on the play, roughly a 6-yard gain, 2nd and 4.
And that was Kyle Jacobson, the junior, on the tackle there. But right now they're able to get into that second wave of defense there, into the linebackers. And Man, the run game working well here early in the second half for the Huskies.
Well, and usually, in order to pick up those yards, it has to happen in the trenches where Firth, had a sizable advantage in the first half. Now we got the pitch to the outside. It's on the ground, and Firth gets to it first. It's going to be a turnover as the pitch was backwards and not forwards, and so it is Firth Cougar football on the turnover. It was a late pitch and just couldn't get the target.
And that is Mario Lizarraga, and he jumped on it. That ball was laying on the ground for quite a while as the pitch man got tackled, couldn't get up, and Lizarraga right there to jump on it. That's a first turnover of the game.
Well, the Astros leading the series with Boston in the ALCS and already have the lead here in game number 6. Chance to close this out. Boston would have to get a win to send it into a 7th game. It's the time of year for baseball, too, and a great run to the outside. This by the other Park, Burton Park, the junior. Of course, Sam Park is a senior. We've been calling the name Park a lot tonight. You have to separate the two names to know who's who.
Yeah, it was a great carry. Burton Park had a lead blocker out in front of him, followed him nicely, and picked up the first down.
Big upset in college football tonight as number 14, Coastal Carolina, goes down to Appalachian State, 30-27. SMU, your number 21 team, winning yesterday over Tulane. Now we get another run up the middle. And this time it's going to be Sam Park. Richardson in on the tackle, brings up 2nd and 4. Some big games tomorrow. Boy, Cincinnati, how are they looking? Number 2 in the country. They face a Navy team that's 1-5, so you got to figure they're going to come out with another win. And I'll tell you what, we've had a top 10 team the last 4 weeks in a row lose to an unranked team. We'll see what happens tomorrow. To the outside. This time it's Burton Park again. He gets down the sideline. He's dragging defenders, and we get a penalty flag as well. Not sure what this is on this side. It might be a face mask, or it might be a sideline infraction. If so, it should be a warning just the first time unless contact was made by someone on the sideline.
It came from if I'm not mistaken, came from the back judge. Personal foul, face mask.
Okay,
right.
So it is going to be a face mask. That's going to be against North Fremont. Going to tack that on to the end of the run. It is a personal foul penalty.
And now, after the turnover, Firth quickly moving down the field as they're already, they're going to be inside or right at the red zone, right at the 20. In fact, just inside the 20.
Well, I'll tell you, tomorrow we do not have a top 10 matchup tomorrow in college football. This game here, this is a top matchup between, right now,
no question about it. Matchup right here.
No question about it. The 2 top teams, certainly in the nuclear conference, 2 of the top 3 teams in the state. Park the ball carrier, that's Burton Park. It's brought down. He tried to make a move and come back just a little bit, ended up losing some yardage on it, and that's going to be behind the line of scrimmage, bring up a 2nd and 12.
Yeah, one too many moves there for Burton Park. He wasn't going to pick up a ton of yards, but he should have, after the initial move, just get downfield because he got tackled from behind as he was basically backing up.
Well, that's the thing. You don't have those eyes in the back of your head, and as soon as you jump back, you can't see what's coming right on you. You only see what's in front of you, and he was the victim of what was behind him. That time brings up a 2nd and long 11, short 12 up under center is Vasquez. He comes out to the right side. He has it. Looks like he can get to the edge. He does so, and he's going to go out after about a 5-yard gain. However, it'll bring up a 3rd and 7 for the Cougars.
I think it's going to be worse than that for the Cougars as there's a flag sitting back at the line of scrimmage. I think there was a holding call on the outside. Yeah, and that's
there was, and that's a spot foul. So if it happened behind the line of scrimmage, it's going to be even more painful for the Cougars. Ball comes all the way back to the 31-yard line.
They've got to get is that down at about the 7? Is that where the first down's at?
Yeah, the first down's about at the 7, so it's
24 yards.
It's 2nd and Yellowstone to go. But, Firth, behind the legs of Park, Park's been able to get a lot done tonight. They have defended him since the first quarter much better, but he is still a very dangerous runner, and now this is, I believe, going to be an offsides. Well, I did see the defense. They appeared to jump. I did not see an offensive person jump, but
it is.
Yep, it's going to be on North. So there's 5 yards back right there. You take him how you can get him.
Yeah, there was a lot of movement from a lot of people, but the center never moved.
Now it's only 2nd and West Yellowstone, not 2nd and Yellowstone.
It's just this little corner of the park, or the little corner of the park out
Yeah,
here that
yeah,
you
that's
can
right.
get to.
The one where the Fall River comes out
There,
of,
yeah,
or
exactly.
Beckler.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Beckler
that's
Meadows
right.
out there.
That's right. So we got a 2nd and about 20 for the Firth Cougars, this time from shotgun. Will be Vasquez. He has Twins right, one man in motion, Twins left. It is going to be a handoff as they come to the outside, and boy, met early. I believe the carrier on that play, it looked to be Austin Jacobson that they handed the ball off to on that.
A good job by Firth to get up the line. They got to the outside and forced him back inside where there was help, and just a very short gain.
Well, anytime you can cut an edge off, you bring more defenders into the play, and it becomes less a one-on-one matchup and more of a gang tackle. However, positive yards on the play brings up a 3rd and 16, closer to 17.
And you wonder, this is, if they can pick up some yards, do they go for it again, or do they try to get a field goal if they can get close enough?
Vasquez from the shotgun drops back, has one man in single coverage. He goes to him in the corner of the end zone. It is no good. Ball was intended. Looks like there for number 7, Wyatt Nelson, the junior. And Nelson thought he got held on the play, and he very well might have. However, the ball could have only been caught out of bounds anyway, so there was no call for pass interference on the play. And, and what started out to really be an offensive juggernaut for both teams has turned into a defensive battle.
Yeah, the turnover from North Fremont on their first possession, and now the penalties that pushed the Cougars back. Now they find themselves in 4th and long. They had an opportunity here for North Fremont to get their 2nd turnover on downs.
As we mentioned before, Lauren, both these teams will head to the state playoffs. It's all just going to depend on where they sit. And, of course, a lot of that has to do with the max prep ratings as well. Yeah, and I think this is going to be offensive this time. Yeah. Looked like number 77 on the play, Brock Briggs, just got off the line just a little early. There's another 5 yards. Back off what they had gained. Tell you what, the officials are getting a workout right now, going back and forth with penalties. If you got a bad back, that's not what you want to be doing.
And the line marker down there with the down marker, he's having to go all over the place too.
Yeah, good thing that doesn't weigh about 200 pounds. Or it'd really be wearing yourselves out. So 4th and 24.
Not too many 4th and 24 plays in the playbook. This one's, for me, this is the old grade school playground, just everybody go long.
This is. Throw it up. Vasquez pops back, being pursued in the backfield. We do have a penalty flag on the play. The pass is going to be, it's going to be intercepted. However, we've got to see what the penalty is before we can get this on the play. It was early, and it looked like maybe might have been a defensive hit after 5 yards. We'll see what happens.
Well, one of the defensive linemen for North Fremont a little shooken up too. I think that's number 63.
It is. That's Jacob Bellis, 6'3", 248-pound junior, and he was kind of holding his arm almost like a dislocated shoulder.
So it must have been an illegal motion. I don't know why it wasn't. It was just illegal motion.
So it turned upfield a little early. Yeah. Is what happened, and it's going to be a turnover on downs. Of course, that's what is going to happen here, and it's going to be 1st and 10 North Fremont with a lot of fill to go. However, they're within 1 score, 8-14, just 6 down. A touchdown ties it up. Extra point gives them a lead, and this year, in all the times that I have watched them score this year, they have not once gone for a 1-point conversion. It's always been a 2-point conversion. This time the ball goes up the middle again, Lenz to the outside, and one of the things you got to be cautious of if you're Firth, that time nobody followed Lenz out. If he happens to fake you out and get around that outside, now it's a foot chase, and he is quick.
Yeah, that was A.J. Hill on the actual carry, and now North Fremont calls a timeout. It's been a long third quarter, excuse me, as it's 6:16 left in the quarter, and it feels like we played a lot longer than that.
Well, Upper Valley Orthopedics is the Upper Snake River Valley's renowned state-of-the-art orthopedic and sports medicine clinic. Doctors Michael Larson, Kevin Lee, and Travis Torngren are all board-certified orthopedic surgeons treating all conditions of the shoulder, elbow, hand and wrist, hip, knee, foot, ankle, and sports-related injuries. I ache in all those parts. Please call for an appointment at 208-356-9550 or simply request online at uppervalleyortho.com. Upper Valley Orthopedics in Rexburg is a proud supporter of North Fremont Athletics. Tonjes Brzee and Orm Dental. It makes visits enjoyable and positive with 2 convenient locations in St. Anthony and Ashton. Budget-friendly payment plans and family dentistry offered at such a great value. The offices of Tonjes Brzee and Orm really is such a wonderful place to make your entire family's dental home. Tonjes Brzee and Orm, caring family dentists, wishing the boys good luck in today's game. Simply visit them at tbodental.com. We're back from the timeout, and it's going to be Firth on North Fremont on second down. And with the ball, it's Lenz, and we just talked about this. He gets to the outside, finally knocked down by Jacobson, but he gets out to the 50-yard line on his biggest run of the evening. We just got through talking about that on the last play. Nobody came with Lenz after after he handed it off, and you can't really tell right off the bat. And they've always had a player following him tonight. This time, again, they thought he was going to Hill. He keeps it. Nobody followed him. They have to chase him down to the 50-yard line, where he gets it. So for Jordan Lenz, big play.
Yeah, a nice stiff arm there on Vasquez, too, to spring him for about 20 more yards.
He does have the size advantage in that scenario. This time it goes off to Packer. Packer picks up a few yards on the play. It's going to bring up a 2nd and 7.
Yeah, definitely the biggest play of the game there for the Huskies. And you see, the strength, like you said, he's got the size on Vasquez. Vasquez shooting up from his safety spot trying to make that tackle, but the stiff arm put him down, and then it was Jacobson finally tracked him down.
Well, at this point, it's the longest run officially for either team tonight. You did have the long one by Park at the first of the game. However, that got called back on a penalty. Up under center again is Lenz. This time he goes to Hill again. Tell you what, Hill is carrying the load in the second half. A lot of it was Packer in half number 1. He gets some positive yards. This is going to bring up a 3rd and 3, much more manageable third down than they had last time.
Yeah, and that was Ethan Blomquist, number 88, again on the tackle there, the senior off that defensive end, hanging on.
Angel Romero comes over to get the play from Coach Lenz. Once again, Ben Lenz, he also coaches the girls basketball team, has won a state championship with them as well out here at North Fremont. He was born and raised, and I got an interesting story here from years and years back. Once again, it's Hill. Hill gets met early and gets brought down. It looks to be a little short of the first down marker.
And a little bit of extra pushing and shoving at the end of that from kind of both sides of it.
Yeah. I'm glad in that scenario that they didn't throw a penalty flag. They were able to separate them early. And boy, well, it is going to be a first down, 1st and 10, North Fremont. So we mentioned that 5 years ago they went back to the state boys basketball tournament for the first time since 1928. 1928, when they played in the state tournament, they lost to Moscow to open the tournament. And then they beat Moscow to open the tournament, lost to Pocatello, and then beat Moscow again. They did not win the tournament, but they won the sportsmanship trophy. That sits in Ben Lenz's office. That sportsmanship trophy. We got a hurt player down on the field. And boy, Ben Lenz is upset because he's saying, hey, that was a late hit after that.
And I honestly didn't think so. I thought both guys just kind of got tied up, and one was already hurt. But
that's kind of what it looked like to me. Yeah. Coach Lenz was upset,
well,
and it's
Coach
Jordan.
Hill's
It's Jordan Lenz that's down on the. It's down on the field right now. I think it was innocent. It was just a good hard tackle. Looked to be out of that tackle, number 63, Jacob Bellis, and I don't think there was anything, nefarious about that or intentional. I think it was just one of those that it's a game that's physical, and sometimes that happens.
Yeah, and a little surprised, and there's some more discussion there, but Coach Hill out there, and you're right, it was 23 that's out there, Jordan Lenz, and
boy, and Ben Lenz, who rarely loses composure, is really upset at the official out there. He thought it was intentional. And Jordan Lenz now walking off on the sideline. It appears like he'll be okay with that. I'll tell you something that they're cracking down on at both the NCAA and the NFL level is there's a lot of times when they tackle, a guy still has a leg and tends to kind of roll and twist that leg, and they're really cracking down on that this year, as some players have had some knee dislocations, some torn ACLs and stuff from that very thing, and you see it a lot. It's a keeper, as in the ball game for North Fremont, number 2, Jed Hill. He's just a sophomore quarterback. He's also a defensive back on the team, 5'11", 155 pounds, sophomore.
Now we'll see Lenz still kind of hobbling over here on our near sideline as we watch him walk back and forth. Helmet's still on. That's always a good sign.
Well, and with an injury play like that, you have to come out for at least one play anyway when it's an official stoppage for you. He seems to walk it off. He's got a slight limp, but looks like he might be okay. We'll see. But as the time is, Jed Hill remains in that quarterback, goes up under center. He's got Packer as well as A.J. Hill behind him, and Packer's going to take it up. What a carry. He picks up the first down, and with Jordan Lenz on the sideline, North Fremont continues to move the ball down the field, down 8-14.
Yeah, and that was Blomqvist again on that defensive end, getting the tackle, 88. And they're just chipping away here, 3-4 yards a chop, and methodically moving the football down the field.
Well, I think you leave Jed Hill in and try to see if he could get you into the end zone during this possession, give Lenz a chance to kind of loosen up just a little bit more after being a little injured outside. Now we're going to get another penalty flag, and it's starting to get chippy down there between the players. You can see it, and there's a lot of chirping going on across those lines there. And look at Coach Hill. He's telling his players out on the field, knock it off.
Yeah,
whatever you're saying, whatever you're doing, it's time to stop it.
We'll see if we have the offsetting. Yeah, and a personal foul, and that's one of those things, when you get upset like that, that's going to go against North Fremont, which they're not going to like, but you can't retaliate.
Yeah, you can't. That's a 15-yard penalty. That backs him up.
And the unfortunate thing here, of course, North Fremont feeling like they're getting the short end of the stick on that.
Jordan Lenz back on the field now for North Fremont. But, if you're the second one, you retaliate, you're going to get caught. They don't always catch the first, but they do catch the second. As Lenz gets to the outside, finally gets down, brought down out of bounds by number 70, Andy Jorgensen, the 5'8", 167-pound sophomore. And I'll tell you what, at 5'8", 167 pounds is pretty stout. They get some yardage back and make it a little bit more manageable for third down. It'll bring up a 3rd and long 7, short 8 with $1:51 remaining in quarter number 3.
So 3rd and 8, and Coach Lenz is still pleading his case with the white hat down there. But
Lenz under center again. Lenz keeps it again. He's going to be short of the first down as he gets stacked up and brought back. And now more pushing after A.J. Hill. Now, A.J. Hill might get tossed from this game. The official told him to stop, and he turned around and he pushed the official's hand away. This might, we'll see what this is. This might be an ejection. They're going to call the personal foul on A.J. Hill. That's for pushing the player. But he is awfully lucky, because you cannot put your hands on an official in any way, shape, or form. He's awfully lucky that he did not get thrown from this game. As when the official patted him on the helmet, he turns around and pushes the official's arm. Very fortunate for A.J. Hill. And, for both these teams, this is a good game. You cannot lose composure right now. You cannot lose composure. We're going to get a timeout in North Fremont, and Coach Hill's going to be out there with the team because Ben Lenz is still having his conversations with the official down there, he is extremely upset. Going back to the injury to Jordan that brought him off the field for a couple plays, and it's just one of those games when it starts to get chippy. Officials have to make tough decisions.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because, of course, Coach Lenz, and all of North Fremont feel like there was at least one or two things that were missed on the other side, and maybe they're right. They may very well be right.
But again, if you're doing something retaliatory, you're going to be the one that gets caught. It's tough to catch the first guy because officials are watching the play as it happened. So their eyes don't leave the play that happens immediately. So if you're the second guy, they are going to, by that time, be able to see more of a peripheral view, and you're going to get caught.
So that really, again, just penalties killing the drives here for both teams. These ones end up being personal fouls, unsportsmanlike stuff that's hurting North Fremont. And Coach, I love Coach Lenz. He's been one of my favorite coaches over the years to get to know here in District 6, and we have some great coaches.
Well, and he's such a mellow guy most of the time.
Is.
Very, very easy to officiate for most people. Coach Lenz has been, it's rare to see him lose his composure, And I'm not saying he necessarily lost his composure, but it's rare to see him upset. Look, he's still talking to the officials. He backs off. No, that's Coach Hill, pardon me, talking to the official about that. But now at this point, you can't do something detrimental to your team, and get another personal foul penalty from the sideline. First jump, but didn't officially cross the line. Lenz with it, drops back, has his receiver open in the middle, and just underthrew him. Downfield, he actually had number 1, Angel Romero, and had he have thrown it over top of the defense, I think they'd have had a touchdown.
Yeah, Romero had kind of beat guys down the middle, and he just underthrew him. Maybe a little miscommunication on who he thought was going to be there in that spot of the field. But now North Fremont will kick it away.
Yeah, well, and as it was, Firth could have potentially picked that off. It's actually a turnover on downs. As it said,
excuse me.
I'm a little more surprised on that they didn't just throw to the sticks. Try to make that work there, but he could have got it over the top. Now you got twins right, twins left, no eligible tight on this one. It's going to be handed off to Park. He's going to get through that initial line and pick up about 2.5 yards on the play. We'll call it a second and long 7, short 8 for the Firth Cougars. And I think if you're Firth here, you've got some momentum. You got some emotional momentum going in your favor right now. I think Park can pick some positive yards up for you.
Well, and that's the thing. If you're Firth and you break a big run here or something, that really swings the momentum. Because right now it does. It feels like it's on their side, even though they're only up by 6.
Yeah, and right now it's under a minute to go in quarter number 3. And we're going to get another penalty, and this one's going to be on the coaches. Just too much chirping going on the side. It just hit that point where they're going to call it a sideline warning, so it's not going to be an official penalty at this point. Next time it is.
Now those guys have a joyful job down there on the sideline.
Yeah. So no official penalty, but that's the way you have to administer the warning as well, as with the yellow flag. Yep.
Just a great job down there as a sideline judge. You got those coaches right there in your ear nonstop.
Pass by Vasquez. It is caught, moved out, good enough for a first down. I believe he went to Jacobson on that.
Yeah, good run after the catch from Jacobson. That's number 18, Austin Jacobson, the senior.
That's the Austin version. Then we have the Kyle version. Kyle's actually the junior, Austin the senior.
Yep, that's correct. Austin's a senior.
We've learned a little bit about them tonight. They've got a couple fans that cheer them on every game. As we have a timeout on the field right now, both teams fired up. 0.4 seconds to go when the timeout was called. That's interesting.
Now they're going to run it off.
Now they are going to run off. So it's not going to be a timeout. It's going to be the end of the quarter. And as we head into quarter number 4, 14-8 is your score, same as it was at halftime. Pro-Pete Fertilizer is an enviro-friendly product that reduces leaching. Pro-Pete can help replace organic matter back into the soil. Peat-bound nutrients released when plants need them. Carbon 90 Plus binds nutrients to the natural carbon of peat moss, encouraging steady plant growth for healthier turf with less mowing and thatch. Pro Peat is a great product for turf and ornamental applications. Uses range from lawns and gardens to shrubs and trees. Pro Peat wants to wish the North Fremont boys good luck in tonight's ball game. We start this fourth quarter. No touchdowns scored in the third. 8-14 remains your score. That was our score at halftime. Firth on top. Remember, North Fremont went for a 2-point conversion and got it on their lone touchdown. Firth has kicked the extra point each time. And they go back to Park. Sam Park breaks through a number of defenders, and he's going to pick up between 8 and 9 yards on the play. Looks like about 8. It's going to be a short 2 on second down for the Firth Cougars.
And even after all that kind of scrum, I guess, in that last quarter, I just saw some great sportsmanship. Carson Packer and Burton Park kind of helping each other up off the field, and that's what I like to see. I mean, obviously these two teams, they want to win. Yeah. These guys, but off the field, these guys are friends. I mean, these guys know each other. They play with each other in different
these guys they're going to see each other in college and other avenues of their life. As now we're going to get the first down picked up by Firth. Just a quick give to get another set of downs. But, and years down the road, all you remember is the fun times. You remember that it was a good time, and you start appreciating the people you played against because you realize they pushed you to be better.
Yeah, it's been tough going for yardage here in the second half. Neither team really being able to break free. Lenz had that one run where he broke free for about 30 yards, but beyond that, 20 yards, but beyond that, it's been just chip away here, 2 to 5 yards apiece.
Yep. It has. It takes a lot of time off the clock. Yeah, and if you're Firth in this scenario, you can't feel comfortable, obviously, with a 14-8 lead. But the clock is your friend when you do have the lead. They certainly like to get down and put another one in. They've got 8 yards to go to pick up another first down here on second. Goes to the outside, this time to Burton Park. We're going to get a penalty flag, and we're going to get another one. Now, one of them might be a personal foul, and if so, but both of these, I believe, are going to be on Firth. One is a hold, and that was an obvious call. And then the one on the far side, if it's a personal foul, that's 15 yards, and that'll be the one that North Fremont takes.
And if it is a personal foul against Firth, it'll draw some nice cheers here from the North Fremont sideline.
Yeah, it will. So we have the holding. That was the easy call to see.
Well, they're both holding.
So they're both going to be holding.
So they're going to decline one.
Interesting. He waived it as an offset.
Well, I think
but they were both on the team.
They declined the second one.
Yeah, although you don't officially decline it, you just choose one, and you're always going to take the most painful one.
Yeah.
In this case, they're both holding, so it's going to be 10 yards from the spot of the foul.
Yeah, that brings them all the way back to the 49-yard line.
Yeah. Now, if they'd have done 10 yards from the spot of the foul up there, they'd have been back to the line of scrimmage ultimately. So, remains second down, second and looks like about 16, 17. From the shotgun this time. Comes out to the side. It's Jacobson. Nice cut to the middle. Now cuts to the outside. Jacobson heads down the sideline. Finally pushed out of bounds by Ben Lenz, but not before Jacobson. Number 18, that's Austin, the senior, picks up a very needed first down for Firth, and it looks like we have more penalty flags.
And if that's the one that I saw that I thought maybe, I don't like the holding call there, but, if that's what they call here. Was it holding?
Yeah, and the unfortunate thing for Firth is it did not affect the play, meaning the outcome of the play would have been the same either way, but this is going to be a holding penalty, and this one was behind the initial behind the initial down, and so it moves them back.
Just a little, about a yard is all, though.
Yeah.
But you're right, it negates a huge run after the catch there from Jacobson, and like you said, that holding penalty, just from my little vantage point, I didn't think it was that bad.
Well, you could see that the hands were on the outside of the pads just a little bit, but it didn't seem enough to draw a holding penalty. As it is, it gets called. We give the officials the benefit of the doubt on that. Jacobson again out here in triplets to the right. They do have a single left, one in the backfield, most likely Park, and a bad snap again, which has just been so detrimental for the Firth Cougars tonight, as in the first half, Vasquez picked up half of them from his ankles.
Well, and it was just, I don't even think he had called for it to be snapped
Yeah,
yet.
I don't think he
Vasquez
was
wasn't even looking
I don't
yet.
think he was expecting the snap. And then, even though it was snapped, it was a bad snap. It was a worm burner. Phil, ball goes all the way back to the 36-yard line, almost the 37. And it'll be third down and Boise this time. They're going the other direction.
And it has been
third and Idaho Falls.
Ugly second half.
It has.
Penalty after penalty on both teams. It hasn't been one way. It's just been both teams making mistakes, poor penalties, and
8:35 left in the ball game. And it's a third down, and you know, if you're Firth, this would just be a massive first if they could get it. Ball is put up. It's kind of a jump ball, and it's caught. This ball is caught and run down for a touchdown. No flags on the play as number 24, Burton Park, comes down with it. It was thrown high, almost a jump ball. It was kind of a duck. And none of the defenders, I don't think, even saw the ball there. Park comes down with it, heads downfield. It became a foot race. And the junior Park, number 24, goes in for the score, moves the score out 20-8, extra point pending. We assume they'll go for the 1-point attempt, as they have done so far in their previous 2 touchdowns.
And I don't know how Park, like you said, there were about 3 defenders around him, and nobody
They didn't even challenge
made
the ball.
a play on the ball.
Nobody challenged the ball. So Park, this one's up. Looks good again from our point. We'll see if it is. It is. And moves the score out with 8:12 remaining in the ball game, 21-8. Pocock Trucking, based in Sugar City, Idaho, but sends trucks all over the western United States and Canada. Pocock Trucking is a full service, and by that we mean they do everything. They haul bulk commodities like feed, fertilizer, grain, and potatoes. They even drop Lauren off at work on a semi-daily basis. They offer minor shop repairs and have a full-service lube bay. They grow potatoes, dairy-quality alfalfa, and more. They can even sell you a used truck if you need one. Pocock Trucking's main office is in Sugar City, and their truck shop is located in St. Anthony. To find out more, go to PocockTrucking.com. Pocock proudly supports North Fremont Athletics and wants to wish them good luck in tonight's game. And also our power boosters for Firth, Bingham Memorial, and 21st Century Auto Sales. And for North, Madison Memorial Hospital, Big Judd's of Ashton, Pocock Trucking, Grand Peaks, affordable quality health care, and Fall River Electric. So Firth to kick off after, we just talked about what an amazing play it would be to get a first down on that. And then to score the touchdown, Firth is just
it almost feels like a backbreaker in this game.
Because points have not been easy to come by in half number 2.
And now to go up 2 scores, or you're up 13, and like with all the penalties and how far back Firth had been driven, and to get that big play, that's just a tough one. And North Fremont's going to really have to focus and put a good drive together here. They do a little onside kick. It got through and now goes out of bounds. The question is, was it touched? I guess not.
Because they threw the penalty flag, which means it's going to come out and they're going to get extra yards for it. But if it was touched, it would just be down at where it was touched.
Correct. And that was the only question I had, was whether it got touched.
Boy, we got a barn burner, an unexpected barn burner going on over at Madison High School right now.
Yeah, Madison tied with Rigby and driving with about 2 minutes left in the game.
On their 20-yard line.
Yeah.
So that is 28-28 is your score.
So
Rigby, your number 1 ranked 5A team in the state. They've gone to the state championship game 2 years in a row, won it 2 years ago, and lost to Rocky Mountain last year, who 3 teams from Eastern Idaho lost to Rocky Mountain in the state playoffs.
Good blocking up front. A great run.
Cut up the middle as Lands shook off that injury. Pardon me, that is Packer. And now we're going to get more. Now, I'm telling you what happened on that. When they brought Packer down, they rolled, and they rolled his ankle with it. They twisted his lower body. That's been an emphasis this year for officials, particularly in the NCAA and NFL level, as it just getting to the points where when they would tackle and wrap, they would end up turning, continuing to turn that guy's leg. That's exactly what happened on that play. And now penalties again, playing a role. And I'll tell you what, whichever team loses this game, one of the things you will pinpoint afterwards is the number of penalties that you had. You've got to look at penalties.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see the penalty yardage for both of these teams in this ballgame. It's got to be astronomical.
To the outside, it's A.J. Hill. He's going to get cut up and met quickly. I'll tell you what, Vasquez got up in there for that tackle. He just went to the lower body and brought him down, and looks like he got back to the line of scrimmage, but I'll tell you, I might even question that. It looked like he might have been a yard behind it.
And Vasquez covers so much ground so quickly to get out there and undercut Hill.
Yeah.
Just a phenomenal tackle there. And, you know, we've seen him get stiff-armed. Len stiff-armed him. So if you can use your size on Vasquez, you might have the advantage. But there, the speed, the advantage for him.
Boy, Vasquez is quick. A.J. Hill takes it up the middle. Pardon me, that was Packer. Takes it up the middle.
And several Cougars in on the tackle there. Number 44, one of the main ones for Firth. That is Kyle Jacobson, the junior. Coming up from that linebacker spot to help make that tackle. And now it's, what is it, 3rd and 10 upcoming?
It is 3rd and 10 for North Fremont. They go up the middle again. I'm really surprised that they didn't try to run to the outside there and to pick up a little more significant yardage. It brings up a 4th down. It was almost like a position play to get in position for a field goal. You know, that was was awfully odd.
They faked the handoff going to the man to the outside, but then handed it off back up the middle. And man, we got close games all over. But as North Fremont calls a timeout.
Yeah, Skyline knocked off Shelley, which really needed to be a must-win for Shelley in order to get a 3-way tie.
But not by much.
Not by much. 14-12. You know, Skyline had a lot of high hopes coming into this season. They lost that opening game that they played against Green Canyon out of Utah, kind of on a fluke play in the Rocky Mountain Rumble that was played at Madison High School this year. I was actually on the call on that game, that one with Tim Belknap. And that was a surprising one that they ended up losing, as I called their game against Blackfoot as well. And Blackfoot was looking good, and then Blackfoot goes down after that win and loses to Preston the next week, and a Preston team that got demolished by Sugar Salem the week after that. It has just been awfully tough for the 4As here in Eastern Idaho. And then Skyline, after, of course, you were on the call for that, for the Emotion Bowl, after having a big lead going into the 4th quarter, Idaho Falls comes back and wins that game against Skyline. So Skyline really struggling this year after their state championship run last year. Len's now on 4th down, drops back, has his man open, goes to the end zone. It's a touchdown as he goes all the way to Hank Richardson. Hank Richardson on the touchdown. Hank Richardson, 6'2", 190. That's a good-sized kid, just a sophomore.
Yeah, North Fremont needed that one. Down 21 now, 14.
Yeah, and they'll most likely go for 2.
Just a phenomenal throw from Lenz.
6:30 remaining in the ball game, and I'll tell you what, Firth has been able to run some significant time off the clock. So now you got that challenge.
Two-point conversion taken up the middle, and I think Lenz got in.
Lenz got it in. So 16-21, and now Firth will get the ball. Wow. And I'll tell you, a little upset alert here, as it looks like Madison High School might very well knock off the number 1 team in the state, Rigby, and a Madison team that only won a couple games last year, really struggled. Came out, started their season with a win against Bear River to finish off the Rocky Mountain Rumble. And then went up, lost to a good, Sandpoint team, or Post Falls, pardon me, and then has come back, picked up some good wins this year. And they're getting better all the time. New coaching staff as Coach Buck sort of stepped down after last year.
Well, how about that throw there, though? You know, what I just called a backbreaker, I thought, on that long touchdown pass for Firth. And, man, North Fremont gets a short field, and they make the most of it, and they're right back in this thing.
Well, and Hank Richardson was able to get some separation between the defender there, and the ball was underthrown slightly. Not much, but underthrown slightly. He had to turn around for it. It wasn't over the shoulder, and still had the room to catch it there. So the sophomore Richardson picks up another first down, or pardon me, picks up another touchdown. That was a
And I don't see them going for an onside kick here. I mean, there's 6.5 minutes left in the ballgame. Still plenty of time for the North Fremont defense, but you've got to be aware if you are the Firth Cougars, as they're right up on the line, that 50-yard line. And
they try for a little onside kick. Didn't go quite as well as they thought. Comes out to number 63, Jacob Bellis.
I tell you what, he
actually, that looked like number.
It was 53.
53. We don't have a 53 on our roster.
It's Hayden Hone.
Hayden Hone.
Yeah,
okay.
But one of his teammates kind of grabbed him and told him to go down, and Hone wasn't having it. He was going to go after it and run it down the field.
Well, and if you're North in that, you start frothing at the mouth. You said, hey, a lineman got this. Maybe we could get a fumble on this play. And, of course, you know the coaching staff at Firth was going, don't you fumble that ball if you're not going to get down. Don't you fumble that ball.
Hone held on, and now good field position for the Cougars.
And Sam Park escapes the tackle, and he gets out, picks up another first down. Still on his feet, comes back to the middle. Defenders finally catch him, but he's down near the 25-yard line on the North Fremont side of the field. And if you're North Fremont, you look and say, hey, we just pulled ourselves back into it with a great touchdown drive, long pass at the end. But now you give up a huge run and put Firth right back in scoring position again.
Yeah, great run by Park. Yeah, very nice run by Park, like you said, to give him great field position again. And I don't like the onside kick there, you know. And I'm not a coach, but there was still 6.5 minutes left. I like making them go the distance of the field if you can.
That's right. Well, you gave it at midfield for the most part, and they had Park wrapped, and then someone had him by his jersey, and he was able to break both those tackles. He has it again, and he's going to scoot up for about a 6 or 7 yard gain. Looks like about 7. It'll bring up a 2nd and 3 after the good run before. He gets another good one here.
Yeah, Jed Hill on the tackle that time for North Fremont. But the Cougars, they gave up that long touchdown pass after they got one of their own. But now they're running some time off the clock and driving down to score again as they're inside the red zone.
The field position and the clock are in their favor right now. And now North Fremont should have had a personal foul penalty, and Firth has got to be looking at that saying,
well, and the official was right there back there with it. I didn't get a good look at it. He was right back there with it, but
it was interesting. It was far after the play. It was very interesting.
So no penalty and a few yards picked up there, so it's 3rd and very short now for the Cougars.
Right now in the 4th quarter, Raft River up 22-16 on Oakley. We talked about that 1AD1 game, as it looks like we're going to get another first down.
And North Fremont trying to say they came out with a football. There's no...
We'll see.
The officials are pointing.
The officials are saying
Firth.
he was down. Not quite sure who had the carry on that play.
It was Vasquez, and Vasquez I think got his helmet ripped off too as he's walking off the side of the side of the field.
Yeah, we talked about that being a district championship game. Oakley and Raft River. Raft River has been tough all year long. In fact, they've been overlooked, I think, by a lot, at least of the sports writers in the state. 22-16, their lead at half. Of course, Oakley down in the 1AD1 ranks now, as they were up in 2A for a while with Declo. That's one of their neighboring cities, but dropped down about 6 years ago to 1AD1, went from 11-man to 8-man football.
You know, on Firth, they might have to take a timeout here as they're taking a lot of time to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, they are. The back judge has not started his counting yet, but we'll see. And they probably will take the timeout if they have to. They just want to run it down and make sure that every second is going off the clock that can. And the clock is moving with 3.5 to go.
And a keeper is going to be second down.
Yeah, and you know, and Firth's going to use every bit of clock that they can in this scenario.
That was the freshman, Daryl Vasquez in. No, it wasn't.
Jacobson.
Oh, okay.
So it looks like now I show with my records that Firth has, pardon me, that South Fremont has North Fremont, one timeout left is what I show.
And that does sound right.
I could be wrong, but that's what I show. It's senior night for North Fremont. Of course, last regular season game for both these teams.
Another carry right up the middle for Park and about 3 or 4 yards.
Now, you know, obviously they're trying to work the clock here. However, this is one of the things where teams oftentimes have been caught off guard and have lost ball games. I hate to see a team quit what's working for them. This isn't what worked for Firth to get them their lead. Yeah, you're trying to protect the clock, but all of a sudden you're in a third down situation that if you ended up turning this ball over on downs or something, you give an opportunity, you know, for North to potentially come back on you, and you just got to be careful. I see it in basketball a lot. You've seen it as an official where a team will get a lead, and all of a sudden they stop doing what's working for them. They go to a stall, things like that, and allow a team to come back in. Now we're going to get a timeout.
Yeah,
this one's going to be Firth, so North saves their final timeout.
Yeah, 1:57 left on the clock here. Under 2 minutes to go, and yeah, that's a good point. I mean, it's the 3rd and 7 upcoming for Firth. They really need to pick up this first down to salt this thing away.
Yep. So it is official. The number 1 team in the state at 5A gets knocked off as Rigby loses to Madison at Madison High School. Boy, that is not one that you would have seen coming for Rigby. In fact, you know, most people would have probably, if there would have been a Vegas spread on that, the spread would have probably been around 21 points, which is the three touchdown game. But you know, last year when Madison really did not have a good team last year, Madison hung with them for the first half until half number 2. So a big shocker there, and that shakes things up a little bit because now, of course, you have Rocky Mountain and Mountain View playing tonight. Mountain View had the lead in that game by a point and already had the victory earlier in the season. However, because Max Preps determines where you go in at, or at least what seeds you get, this could raise some havoc, put you in a different side of the bracket.
Well, a big 3rd down here for the Cougars.
Up under center, it's going to be Vasquez. Vasquez, number 11. He's got 2 in the backfield, single right. Eligible tight end on the play. He's going to keep it, and he's going to be pushed out a little bit, and they're going to take him down, and he's going to lose yardage on the play back to the original line of scrimmage, and it's going to bring up a 4th and 10 for the Firth Cougars. Firth up 21-16. We got 1:40 left on the clock running. And, you know, maybe North used all their timeouts. I don't know. I showed them as having 1 left, and the scoreboard does not show the timeouts.
Well, and I just wonder what, you know, Firth might let this run all the way down and take another. Do they have 1 more timeout left?
They might. Both of them used a timeout early in the second half. Both of them used one within the first 2 minutes of the second half. And, of course, those are the ones you'd love to have back because you hate to burn those that early.
And it looks like they may wait to take that timeout as soon as this clock runs down, and there is the timeout called.
So we are going to get this timeout. We're going to thank our power boosters, Bingham Memorial Hospital, 21st Century Auto Sales, Madison Memorial Hospital, Big Judd's of Ashton, Pocock Trucking, Grand Peaks with affordable quality health care, and Fall River Electric. And our local sponsors for tonight, Nabin, Fall River Electric, St. Anthony Motors, Upper Valley Orthopedics, Tonjes, Brzee, and Orm Dental Offices, ProPete, and John S. Pocock Trucking. This has been a very competitive game tonight. It's been, we've really had every aspect of the game. We've had long passes, we've had long runs, we've had a lot of penalties. So there's been a lot of things that have given factors to the outcome of this ball game. Right now, Firth with the lead and 1:01 on the clock.
And I don't know, again, I don't know what their kicking scenario is. The guy's been on pretty good for the PAT, but I don't know if he's got the distance from here. This would be about a 35-plus yard field goal, and it doesn't look like that's what they're going to do. They're going to go for it here on 4th and 10, which you don't really have another option if you don't have the kicking game here.
Yeah.
A big 4th down.
Vasquez, he pops to the back. It's going to be a pass. Hits his man, but he's brought down, and it's going to be a turnover on downs, and life for North Fremont with 55.5 seconds remaining on the clock. The wind has started to pick up just a little bit heavier here than it was. I don't think it's heavy enough to really affect the passing game. But you see the flags are whipping just a little bit more than they were before. Now we'll see what Coach Lenz has in his playbooks. I mean, this is one of those where you look to pull out all the stops. You figure things are going to be passes primarily in order to.
Or you got to get out of bounds.
Yeah, or you got to get out of bounds, but you can't afford to be being tackled in bounds if you are North Fremont. Official sets it. Official gets out. Jordan Lindsay's going to come out to the right side. He's going to be hit in the backfield, but they do not bring him down. And the pass is complete all the way down the field to A.J. Hill. A.J. Hill now down past the 45-yard, past the 40, out to the 43, 1st and 10 with 46 seconds on the clock. Yep, no timeouts. It appears they do not have any timeouts left as Lenz spikes the ball, knowing that if you couldn't move from this spot and get a first down in 4 plays anyway, you're just going to run the clock out. So,
well, what a play by Lenz there! As it looked like he might get sacked in the backfield.
Not only the backfield, that would have been in the end zone. That would have been
he
was that far back. That would have been a safety had they have got him down back there, and somehow he escaped it.
Got the pass off complete, and I think because the Firth thought he was going to get sacked, they kind of froze him for a minute, and they didn't stay with their men on defense.
Lenz under center. Pops to the back. He's going to go for the pass again. He's get it. They look to get to the outside and do so as he gets it out to 82. Hank Richardson, the sophomore, who caught their previous touchdown pass, ends up getting one on the side now, and now they're in Firth territory, and now even more so, it starts going back, Lauren, to what we talked about just a little bit ago is I don't understand why Firth stopped doing what was working for them. I understand you got to protect the clock, but you have something that's been getting you in the end zone. And you know, by kind of just being conservative, staying in the middle on those first 2 plays of that possession, they gave themselves a tough 3rd down, lost yardage on it, and then the 4th down didn't go for the sticks or the end zone, went for the mid-yard pass, and now you got North Fremont moving down the field. Back again, it's Lenz. He's going to get the pass off. It's to A.J. Hill, and A.J. Hill's going to score a touchdown, and North Fremont is going to take the lead. North Fremont takes the lead 22-21 with 26 seconds remaining on the clock. One of the most unbelievable ends to a 4th quarter that we have seen this year here on IdahoSports.com. As Jordan Lenz goes to fellow senior A.J. Hill, and Hill wins the foot race to the inside with less than a half minute to go in the ball game. And what Firth really had locked down, you talked about the dagger touchdown, ends up now a North Fremont lead and a 2-point conversion attempt. And they are not going to get it. So if Firth was able to return something into field goal range, they could win on a field goal or obviously a touchdown, but things have changed drastically.
And just on that play, One of the Firth Cougars, he went for the tip, he went for the interception, missed it,
Yeah.
and that left Hill an open run to the end zone, a foot race. And
in fact, it looked like the defender might have got just a slight hand on it. It looked like the trajectory changed just a little bit, but not enough to where it knocked it off of its range.
Just an unbelievable ending right now to this football game, and it's not over, coming up on it, but things are going to have to be miraculous now for the Cougars.
Well, you see some of the kids over on the sideline board, they're excited. The Firth fans have to be in shock right now.
I mean, they've been in control.
Well, they were up 21 to 8. 21 to 8 with more than half the quarter gone in the fourth. As my Dr. Pepper, that is mostly water now, falls off onto the computer.
Didn't spill, though.
No, it didn't.
We're
See, that's why we get a lid. That's why we get a
We're
lid.
Still alive. What a crazy fourth quarter here.
Well, and what do you expect in high school ball? I mean, this is the way it is. Of course, it's this kind of way at every level, but as the game was moving on, the feel of the game, the flow of the game just felt like Firth had done what they needed to do, and I think you go back to where you had that final possession. I think you should have just continued on and punched it in, particularly knowing that North Fremont had just scored. This one's a squib kick. He's on the ground. It's going to go to Vasquez. Vasquez out to the left side. Still on his feet. And finally knocked down out around the 50-yard line, maybe the 49, and now the wind has picked up. 17.3 seconds remaining on the clock. No timeouts for either team remaining in this ball game. And a couple attempts maybe to get down into field goal range if you're Firth, if you not able to score a touchdown on it. Of course, we've seen a lot of penalties this game. You've got to avoid penalties if you're both teams out there, especially personal foul penalties. You got to avoid as it got really, really chippy during the third and early part of the fourth quarter. Vasquez now drops to the back. Good blocking up front. His arm was hit as he was coming to the outside. Pass was intended for 24, Burton Park, the junior. It falls short. Park was wide open, but Vasquez has a good arm, could have got it to him, but he got hit. His arm got hit just as he was releasing. Brings up a 2nd and 10.
And Vasquez down, finally up off the turf, just taking a breather there. And that's, as the wind, like you mentioned, it's really picked up here now as it's blowing right at us. 2nd and 10, 12 seconds left. Not much time left here for the Cougars.
This time it's going to be from the shotgun for Vasquez. He's got twins, both right and left. He has an eligible tight end. He goes to the outside, and they're going to sack him in the backfield. It's going to be a loss of about maybe half a yard on the play, and it's going to bring up a crucial 3rd down, and they've got to get back. The clock runs out, and this game is over. North Fremont, unbelievable comeback in the fourth quarter, down 21-8. North Fremont comes back and wins this ball game, the game that everybody waited for all year long. Of course, both these teams will go to the playoffs, but you want to go into those playoffs with a victory under your belt. And wow, just an unbelievable victory, 22-21 for North Fremont. We're going to take a break. We'll come back with some thoughts on the game and your IdahoSports.com player of the game.
I'm Corey. I'm a dairy nutritionist here in the Treasure Valley. I decided to get vaccinated because I wanted to do my part to protect myself and my family and my customers from COVID-19. As soon as the vaccines were readily available, I was vaccinated. I would encourage people to do the research, listen to the healthcare providers. When I went to get my COVID-19 vaccine, there was hardly any wait. It was an easy process, is readily available. Since I got vaccinated, I'm confident I'm protected against the COVID-19 virus. My life has returned to business as usual.
Wow, what an ending to a ball game. 22-21 as North Fremont knocks off Firth in an improbable comeback, down 21-8 with about 4.5 minutes left on the clock. And North Fremont comes back and wins this ball game on senior night on what appeared to be Firth just going to kind of run out the clock a little bit. And, I mean, there's really not much more you can say than just Firth willed themselves to a victory.
Yeah, just a crazy finish. Like I said, you know, that long touchdown pass, you thought the Cougars had kind of broken the back of the Huskies. They were up 21-8, and then the Huskies come back with their own big touchdown pass. And even after that, it looked like the Cougars were going to be able to salt it away. They got a short field, and then their drive stalled, and then Lenz just took over throwing the football.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. Speaking of Jordan Lenz, we're going to name him our IdahoSports.com player of the game. He had a couple breakout runs after really being held down as far as his running in the first half. He had a breakout run in the second half that really kind of got him going, and then it was the passing. On their very last possession, they didn't run any of them. They passed them all, and he was accurate, hit his guys, and, of course, finished it off with the touchdown pass, about a 50-yard touchdown pass to A.J. Hill to secure the victory, 22-21.
Just a phenomenal football game that we got to witness tonight.
It is. And, of course, we had the big upset, Madison beating Rigby tonight as well. Just been some fantastic ball games, but this one was everything it was made up to be as, again, North Fremont just did what it took. So, I don't know, Lauren. They go in now. Now the Max Prep rankings take over.
Exactly.
As far as what their seeding is going to be in the playoffs. So the way it is
well,
you still make the playoffs the
Yeah.
same way that you always do. So the teams that make it. It's just once you've been determined to be in there now the Max Preps takes over.
Well, and in theory, I think North Fremont should have been ahead in those Max Prep rankings coming in tonight because
they didn't have
were
a loss.
undefeated.
Yeah, but of course they
They'll
also
stay
take
that
in your
way
strength,
now.
the schedule, all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. And of course in
There's the
conference their
district-
schedule's all the same anyway.
Well, and there's the district championship for that plaque or that title
Yeah,
for the conference for the North Fremont Huskies.
North Fremont on senior night, they could not be any happier. Just a great game tonight. This has been an IdahoSports.com Game Streams production of the East Idaho Game Night, presented by Teton Auto Group, our major sponsors that make coverage of this game possible. Include your local Toyota dealer. Toyota lets go places, Valley-wide co-op and country store, as well as Project Filter, where Idaho fights tobacco. We'd also like to thank our local sponsors for this game, which is Fall River Electric, St. Anthony Motors, Upper Valley Orthopedics, Tonjes Brazilian Orm Dental, as well as ProPete and John S. Pocock Trucking. And your power boosters have been Bingham Memorial Hospital, 21st Century Auto Sales, Madison Memorial Hospital, Big Judd's of Ashton, Pocock Trucking, Grand Peaks, Affordable Quality Health Care, and Fall River Electric. We'd also like to thank North Fremont High School being so courteous to us and accommodating, putting us up here in their booth. It's been nice, and we've been able to avoid most of the wind. Now it's picking up bad. But congratulations again to Jordan Lenz, our IdahoSports.com player of the game. Thanks for joining us as the North Fremont Huskies on senior night defeat the Firth Cougars, their rival from the Nuclear Conference, by a score of 22-21 in an improbable comeback. For my broadcast partner, Lauren Jensen, and everyone else behind the scenes here at IdahoSports.com, my name is Lance Taylor, saying good night.
This has been a presentation of